Skeletor to King Randor. Skeletor to King Randor. Come in, you royal boo.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull.
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf.
Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3! Win!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have me douse, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to Friday Night Lights. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP, from the 313. And by my side, I normally would say, my main man, my toucan Sam, the one that called the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. But Mr. Mikey is not doing Friday Night Lights until the Buffalo Bills play again in the preseason. So, with that being said, you got to deal with your boy for another, month and a half or so? And then the return of Mikey on Friday Night Lights. But Mikey will be back Monday, right? Monday Night Uncensored. Usually Mikey's here, though he's been bouncing out a little earlier than I would like. Mikey. Let's get with the chat. What's going on, Scott? How you doing, brother? Chris is in the house. Hey, Tommy, hope all is well, brother. Yeah. Things are starting to, seems like it's starting to get better, right? I'm on the right track, and I appreciate you asking me. So just a, quick update with my situation. So I did find a place for me and Princess, a house to rent, a 2-bedroom house, not far from where I'm living now. So that's the good news. I did put the first month's deposit down. I'm still trying to come up with the rest of the money, which is the second part of the deposit, and obviously moving costs and all the other stuff that it takes. I'm going to need help and all that. So I want to say thank you to everyone that's helped so far, and that is sharing my GoFundMe link. If you guys want to share it or you want to donate, the link is in the description. It would be greatly appreciated, because I'm not out of the woods yet, but I'm in the right direction. So thank you so much for asking. And for those that have helped, it means so much. It means the world to me. I've never did this before, asked for anybody's help. I've usually picked myself up off the ground. But this time, unfortunately, I needed help. So thank you so much to everybody who shared, who has their thoughts and prayers. Even the ones that didn't donate, just you reaching out to me means the world to me. So thank you. All right, so let's get back to it. Let's see here, Tommy. What game are you excited for this season? I'm hyped for the Bills versus Rams, dude. Honestly, with this schedule, and I'll pull it up real quick, and I'll actually let me see if I can share the schedule. I mean, to be real with you, this is a hell of a schedule, and most of these games are truly exciting. Let me pull it up and share the schedule real quick. This way we can kind of go through it in real time here, right? You ask the question, and I'll answer that question. So let's go ahead and pull that up. By the way, guys, real quick, I'm gonna tell you, as a podcaster, this is the roughest time as a podcaster to find things to talk about when it comes to your NFL team. Now, I don't care what team you cover. This is the most brutal part of the offseason, as far as, coming up with stuff to talk about, entertain you guys at the same time, and do a live, 2-hour podcast. I'm sure I could come up with a 10-minute video every day, and I'm not knocking people who do that, but doing a live show, during this stretch is brutal. And I'm sure it's repetitive at times, and that's why I think we're all just ready for football to start already. And I hate being repetitive. I hate having to fish for things to talk about, but I enjoy also coming on here and basically shooting the shit with you guys, right? This is what this channel is all about. Really kicking it with my audience. It's not X's and O's. It's not I'm not going to sit here and bore you to death with a film breakdown, right? So, and I'm not knocking those at 2 film breakdowns. So don't go running off telling Cover One Tommy from Mafia Sports Report is knocking what they do. That takes a lot of work, and it's once again, there's people that can sit there and watch fucking hours of film breakdown. I do my own film breakdown to evaluate players and stuff like that, but I'm not going to bore you guys to death with that. With that, I can't. I can do my own, but I can't sit there and watch somebody do it. And once again, it's not. I'm not knocking those people that do that. All right. I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. So here's the schedule. Let's pull up the schedule here. So we got week 1 right away at Houston. I mean, talk about starting off with a bang. This game I am looking forward to. I got to be honest with you. I would say the first 2 games for me are the most interesting and yet exciting for me, because it showcases 2 things, or it's going to say 2 things about this team, at least to start. One, we're going against probably the best defense, or an elite defense in the Houston Texans, right? You want to know what your offense is all about going into the 2026 season? Well, here the fuck we go, right? Because you're going against the best, right? The best of the best. And if Buffalo can come out the gate and, 1, get the dub, and 2, the offense looks good at the same time against that defense, then wash the fuck out, NFL, right? That's week 1. And then you got week 2 against the Lions, whose offense is scary good. They got talent all around the board on offense, all around. Receivers, tight end, running back, even the court. I'm not crazy about Goff, but he's a good quarterback, right? And what's that going to say? That's going to say a lot about where this defense is at to start the season. What this change is all about under Jim Leonhard, right? So you're talking about a way to open up the season against an elite defense and a I mean, damn, is it? I want to call the Lions elite offensively, but damn, they're damn good. They are damn good. If you want to test early on, there you go. So I would say those two are so interesting. It's going to say a lot early on about what this team could potentially look like in the 2026 season. So, yeah, those two are right off the riff. And then the Chargers at home, right? So you got back-to-back home, Lions and Chargers. I think we could beat the Chargers. Chargers are a good team, though, right? Let's not like just overlook the Chargers. The Chargers are a playoff caliber team with a very good quarterback, good head coach, obviously. That's not a pushover, right? And then you got the Patriots at home, right? So you got 3 straight home games, right? Patriots, once again, we know what the Patriots can do, right? They have a very good defense, right? Their offense is also, pretty good. They got A.J. Brown. So once again, if you look at the start of the season and then go into week 5 at L.A., the Rams, right? Which is probably the hottest team talked about right now going into the 2026 season because they acquired Myles Garrett. So they are not only are they good offensively, they are really good defensively. So they're good on both sides of the ball. Many have them as the favorite right now to win the whole damn thing, right? And we're going to LA, right? So the one thing I know about the Buffalo Bills is we're in every single game. So as I'm telling you guys about these teams and how good they are or great they are, we're in all of these games. Like think about it, guys. We are even the ones we lose, even when we lost to LA, few years back, that was a shootout, right? And then we went to Detroit, and that was a shootout, and we wound up beating Detroit when many people thought we would lose to Detroit because Detroit was one of the hottest teams that year in the NFL, if you guys remember, right? They were on fire. But yeah, like I'm not afraid of any of these teams. Like I'm not worried or afraid that the Buffalo Bills can't get these wins, right? I mean, that's the great thing about this team. Unlike a lot of teams, right, that we go around and look around, you can't say that about a lot of teams around the NFL where when you look at their schedule, go, man, they can win all these games, right? They're going to be in all these games, right? Like it's so that's why it's really tough for me to accurately predict the regular season record, because man, our team, it just makes it so difficult for me. And it's not a homer thing. It's just a reality thing, right? Last year, if you go back, the losses were such fluky losses. Like the Dolphins, like losing to the Dolphins was such a fluke thing, right? Against a terrible team. That should never happen, right? Never. But it was like a fluke thing. Outside of the Dolphins, though, and of course we lost to the Falcons, but the Falcons game we were in and we didn't get blown out. I mean, really the only game that we kind of got worked was the Dolphins game. Outside of that, even Houston with the elite defense, even them, we had an opportunity against them. We had an opportunity to win at the end of the game. So outside of a fluky game last year, which is super rare for the Buffalo Bills to lose that kind of against a bad opponent, we're in every game, right? So it's just difficult to predict these games, and that's why I pick the Bills every single time. I can't wait to smash the Patriots twice this year. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man, the Patriots don't have an easy schedule either, man. The Patriots, it goes by, when the NFL does these schedules, they go by record from the previous year, right? Strength of schedule. So, they didn't, Patriots definitely have a much harder schedule than they did last year. I got to say, too, the Dolphins, the NFL did not really help out the Dolphins this year because they have a brutal schedule, too, and they are a bad team. And when I looked at their schedule, I have a tough time finding 3 wins. Like, I gave them 3, but I don't know. Like, I really don't know. And I'm not being an asshole to Dolphin fans. I'm just being honest. Like, let me pull up their schedule. Let's go through this. Let's finish the Buffalo Bills schedule, and then I'm going to show you the Dolphins schedule because I'm just having a tough time finding wins for that Dolphin team. And they got nobody on that team. And they're doing it the right way because that's what a rebuild is all about. You basically flush everyone out and, you start fresh, right? Right. So, and that takes time. You're just not going to do it overnight. It's like a 3-year process, usually 2-3-year process, right? For most teams doing a full rebuild. Not talking about partial rebuild or little pieces here and there. They're in full rebuild mode, right? They lost the most in dead cap history of any NFL team, right? That's how much they are flushing out, their players to start fresh, right? The only one they kept was A-Chain, and he's just not going to be able to do it all, right? And we have no idea, and neither do Dolphin fans, and if they tell you they do, they're crazy, about Malik Willis and what he can do as a full-time starter. I think he has potential. I like what I saw from the guy, but he's only had a couple games under his belt. Once he's a full-time starter and teams start getting film on you, that's where you're going to see really what he's all about. And you're going to see mistakes. And not only that, they don't have anyone on the team for him to throw to. Right? So, yeah, I'll get to the Dolphins' schedule in a minute, but let's finish this out real quick. So the Rams, week 6 against the Raiders. That one, the Bills should handle that, right? The Raiders are pretty bad. Week 7 is our bye. Then we come back week 8 against the Ravens. We're at home, but let's be real. The Ravens have a very good squad, and that's not a pushover team either. We know this. We played the Ravens multiple times. We know that that's a dogfight every single time, and it makes for a great game, right? And then you got week 9 against the Vikings. The Vikings, listen, I think the Bills will win, right? We're at Minnesota. However, they still got an elite receiver in Justin Jefferson, and they got Kyle Murray now, who's way better than J.J. McCarthy. I knew J.J. McCarthy wouldn't work out. I told my buddy here, who's a Michigan fan, who was praising J.J. McCarthy as like the next Tom Brady. I kept telling him, I don't see it. I didn't see it when he played in college, and I certainly don't think he was going to transform overnight into the NFL and become this great quarterback, and he hasn't. And that's the reason why they went out and got Kyle Murray. Now, the problem with Kyle Murray is you don't know what you're going to get from game to game. You have no idea, right? So what Kyle Murray shows up this week. But I still feel like the Buffalo Bills have the better team. They should win that game. Week 10 against the Jets. The Jets are going to be terrible. The Bills are going to own the Jets. The Jets are going to be, I think they're going to be better than the Dolphins, but not by much. If they're better, they're by a game. And then you got the Dolphins. Listen, the Dolphins are terrible. Unless the Bills have another fluke game where they just can't figure it out, I can't see it happening. Plus, they're at home. No way. Week 12 versus Kansas City at home. Buffalo Bills play the Chiefs very good in the regular season. I believe we have a winning record against the Chiefs in the Patrick Mahomes era in the regular season. It's the playoffs where the Chiefs own us. I think we get the job done here as well. Week 13 at New England. It's going to be a tough game, Week 14 at Green Bay. That's another tough game. But I'm not crazy about Jordan Love. I'm just not. I think he's kind of like a Kyle Murray. You have no idea what you're going to get game to game. So I think the Bills win that one too. Week 15 against Chicago. Was it a fluke last year? The record, you know, with Ben Johnson and how they played last year, we'll find out. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. I think we can win. We're at home. Week 16 at Denver. Here's the rematch. I'm not a crazy Bo Nix fan. I think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he's great. I think the Bills can win that game. I do. Week 17 Dolphins, we know how that works, in week 18 Jets. So it's tough for me to find losses in this schedule. It sucks because I sound like a homer, but I've just been covering this team long enough to know what we're all about. And we don't just lay down for anyone. We're in every single game. So I have a difficult time coming up with losses. However, that's not saying the Bills won't lose some of these tougher, you know, these games. Like, could they lose against the Rams? Of course they can. Of course they could, right? Could they lose against, you know, I don't know, you know, the Packers, you know, at Green Bay? Sure. You know, like, there's some games there, you know. The Texans, we don't play well in Houston. Could we start off this season cold, right? I mean, you know, I got to say, in the McDermott era, there's been a couple games from what I recall, week 1 that we lost against bad teams. Remember when we lost against Pittsburgh? Remember when we lost against the Jets? Even right after Aaron Rodgers had one snap, right? Tore his Achilles, right? And we still couldn't beat the Jets. Like, and we were the better team. But just, we had those weird week 1, you know, games where we were just kind of slow out the gate. So could it happen against Houston? It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Sandra, happy Friday, Tommy, to the TOP and everyone in the chat. That's right. Let's keep up with the chat tonight. Hey, I'm trying. I gotta say the chat's slow tonight, Sandra, so I shouldn't have an issue. Right now, it's not a lot of you guys chatting. I don't know. And listen, I get it. It's July 4th weekend. Like, last thing you guys want to do is be hanging out with me, probably. Fucking Tommy. We barely beat the Saints last year. It's not. Yeah, but I don't. For me, it doesn't matter about if we barely won or a win is a win. At the end of the day, no one's going back and say, you know, what we barely did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I could care less if we win by a point or, you know, 50 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, the win and you know, the wins are what matters, right? So, I get what you're saying, but I also put that sometimes on Sean McDermott too. He, you know, lets us, you know, foot off the gas pedal at times, you know, as a coach, and I felt like teams got back into games because of that. Kyle Murray, please. Listen, I'm being real, Roy. I'm not saying Kyle Murray is, you know, Joe Montana or anything. I'm just saying, if you're going to compare him to J.J. McCarthy, come on, Kyle Murray's a better quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. He gives them a better opportunity to win games. And we can't make fun of Kyle Murray. He beat us. Right? When we played Arizona that one year on a Hail Murray. Right? The dude's not terrible. Like, the problem with Kyle Murray, once again, is you don't know what you're going to get game to game. Like, Kyle Murray's such a question mark. Like, nobody knows, right? That's the problem throughout his career. So what Kyle Murray shows up that game, right? And, you know, that's the big question, because we've seen good Kyle Murray. We've seen bad Kyle Murray. J.J. McCarthy, for the most part, it's been bad J.J. McCarthy. There hasn't been many good moments from him. I think maybe a game or two. Outside of that, it's been pretty brutal. So, I'm just saying, if you're an Arizona fan, he's your best option right now. Twins football. What up, Tommy? How you doing, brother? I've made a comment on Joe's latest video. I'll paste it. Joe. Who's Joe? Joe Marino? Okay. The Mad Chatter, shout out, Tommy. What's going on? I think you're talking about Joe Marino, right? If I'm not mistaken. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of this. I want to go over real quick the Dolphins schedule because it's crazy. I know it's the Bills channel, but I find it wild how. Okay, no problem. Yeah, you could copy paste it. How the NFL, because usually its strength of schedule goes by wins and losses from the year prior. And man, like the Dolphins schedule is brutal for a team that did not win many games last year and is going through this like major rebuild. I have a difficult time finding wins for them. I really do. And once again, I'm not trying to be an asshole to Dolphin fans. Like I'm not. Like I don't do that. I'm not like a troll. You know, I don't go around making fun of other teams for the most part. I'll have a little fun, but I'm not like trying to like. I'm not telling them not to watch their team play football. They should still be excited for football. Robert, how you doing, brother? But the reality is, like I said earlier, they're in full rebuild mode. They took the most, dead cap hit of any team ever in the NFL. Like our NFL's record. That's how much they dumped in players. The only guy they kept around was A-Chain. They gave him a contract extension. They got a brand new head coach, which we have no idea, if this guy's going to be any good or not. Right? They got a brand new GM who obviously felt the best way is to dump everybody on the team pretty much, which is the proper way to do it, to be honest with you, if you're doing a full rebuild mode. They even got rid of Tua, right? They got a Malik Willis who is a kind of an unknown. I mean, we know him as a backup, but I think he only has a few games under his belt. So it's a question mark, even if he's a, full-time, starting quarterback. Is he that kind of player or is he a backup? And then they got no receivers, right? They got rid of their best receiver they traded away. And they don't, even their tight end who played great for them last year, I forget his name, the guy they winded up picking up, is no longer on the team. They just got no weapons. So you got a guy that barely has any, starts under his belt, nobody to throw to, and a brutal schedule. And I'm going to go over it right now. And like I said, I have a tough time finding wins for them. AFC West, NFC North, that's who they face. AFC teams play this season. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I get it. But I'm just saying, Roy, like, woo, rough. You know what I mean? Like, it's just brutal. All right, so here's their schedule. So at the Raiders, right? I'm giving them this win. However, they're both bad teams. Like, it could be a toss-up. I have no idea. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, if Mendoza doesn't start and they go with Cousins, because they might do that. And that's probably, to be honest with you guys, that's probably the best thing to do is to start Cousins. Kind of like what the Chiefs did with Patrick Mahomes his first year when they had Alex Smith in 2017, right? You roll with the vet and then you play your rookie the last 2 or 3 games of the season. And then so you let him sit behind Cousins, right? Have him watch, have him understand the game. Cousins a vet, he's going to get, he's still going to play decent for the Raiders, right? Fans are going to be totally upset going to see Raiders play. And then you get the guy ready. You get the kid ready, Mendoza, right? For the following season, for the 2027 season. So more than likely, if I had to guess, Cousins will play this game. So that's a little bit of an advantage for the Raiders, but they're so bad. They are bad. The Raiders game has the most expensive ticket. Miami will have 2 wins, Raiders and Jets. Yeah, Scott, I'm telling you, it's so tough. I'm going to give them this win, though, even though I shouldn't. Even though, like, it's telling me that the Raiders will win because Miami's still traveling to L.A. You're going against a seasoned veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins. but I'm going to be nice. I'm being nice. I'm going to be nice because I want my buddy Captain D. He's a Dolphin fan, right? I don't want him to be so hurt this season. Twins football. Okay, this is what Twins said on Locked On Bills, right? That's what you wrote to him. Okay. A lot of people say McDermott broke the playoff drought, which is not true. Andy Dalton did. Look what happened to the prior season when Allen was out for several games. Okay. So you're kind of wrong there in a way, because 2017 is when they broke the drought. Allen got drafted unless I'm reading this wrong. Allen got drafted in 2018 and missed like 4 weeks due to, I think 4 weeks due to the shoulder injury. And I think that was against the Jets. I could be wrong when he got that shoulder injury, but that was 2018. And I get your point about the Andy Dalton. So if that's where you're going with that. So 2017 was, listen, it was special. It was awesome that we finally broke that drought, right? I don't think that was the direction that they were going. Of course, they want to win games, but I don't think anyone thought that team in 2017 was going to break the drought. By the way, they only won 9 games. It's not like, McDermott, did this unbelievable job where we won, 11, 12 games. You know what I mean? Like, matter of fact, if you go back to that season, he benched Tyrod Taylor for Nathan Peterman. You know what I mean? Nathan Peterman picked up more L's for us anyways. Then he went back to Tyrod Taylor. Like, it just, I don't know if he was ever really truly pushing for a playoff, spot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like it. And a lot of those players in that team were inherited from the Rex Ryan years. And in 2018, they got rid of most of those players, right? I think not McDermott. A lot of the defensive players were gone. Marcel Darius got cut in 2018 before the 2018 season. I know Shady played 1 year with Josh, but then he got cut at the end of the 2018 season. So a lot of those players on that 2017 roster weren't even on the 2018 roster and definitely weren't on it in 2019, the majority. So, I don't believe in luck really in sports for the most part, but it just kind of unfolded that way for us to break the drought. And yes, Cincinnati had that miracle last second throw, that obviously boosted Buffalo into the playoff, but I don't know if that was all on McDermott. He made a lot of mistakes that year too. Like, if you don't bench Tyrod, maybe we win 10 or 11 games, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, Nathan Peterman was terrible. And then he started Nathan Peterman again in 2018. Like, he didn't learn from 2017. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit that like drove me bonkers when it came to Sean McDermott. It's like, we all could see it. Why can't you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm always willing to give a player an opportunity or trust my coach. If you see this guy in practice and, you believe he's worth the start, okay. But, dude, I've seen enough, right? And now you're going to do it again? Why? What has changed? This guy's bad. It's crazy to me. Allen wasn't part of. Yeah. He made a mistake. That's okay. I don't believe in luck. I just believe a lot of things happen for it to work out that way. But I don't think it was like. I don't think we were ever expecting it, and neither was McDermott to make the playoffs. And to be honest with you, they probably wanted to lose games that year to get a top 5 pick to get a quarterback, right? Because they won 9 games, it kind of forced Brandon Beane to trade up to get Josh Allen. So I don't know if the goal was really to win 9 games even that year. You get what I'm saying? Because they knew that it was going to be a heavy draft class for quarterbacks, a good draft class for quarterbacks in 2018. Right? So they didn't want to have to maneuver and get back up into the top 10, but they had to. So I don't know if it was really like their intention to make the playoffs in 2017, but you definitely don't want to try to lose games on purpose either, right? Make it to the playoffs to score all of 3 points. Yeah. And you know what, Roy? It's funny because that might have been one of McDermott's best year, like defensive teams. Like that little run there between 2017, 2018, and 2019 was one of McDermott's better, years as far as defense, where the defense could actually be counted on. You know what I mean? And then it kind of went downhill after 2020. Like it started to show cracks in 2020, and then it just it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? But if you remember, like 2017, he inherited a lot of those players, right? And a lot of those players were not on the team like a year or two after, right? They dumped them. So, and offensively was the problem, right? We didn't have a quarterback yet. We didn't have receivers. Remember that? Like we had like nobody. We had nobody. Kelvin Benjamin, like it was bad. So had to find the quarterback, had to build around the quarterback, which we did in 2019, right? Remember 2018 was a bad year. Is there continuity? Continuity. Is there a community Discord that I can post a full comment? Of course you can. Let me share the Discord link. We have if you guys don't know, I do have a Discord. And it's like 3. I invited everybody. Nobody wants to join apparently, but we have a good time on here, man. Though, like I said, only a few people seem to be on it. Let me see here. I will post it in the chat. This should get you guys into the Discord. There you go. There's the Discord link. If you guys want to join Mafia Sports Report, Discord link. And it's cool because there's a Mafia Sports Report and there's also another room, because I'm learning all this on the Discord. There's another room called the NFL War Room. And that's for, because I got people that watch the Mafia Sports Report that are Chiefs fan, Ravens fans, Giants fans, so Dolphins fans. So that's for more like, hey, you guys want to talk a little smack talk, go into the war room. You know what that's about. Just don't be calling people's names. Outside of that, I don't care what you say on there. But at Mafia Sports Report, that's mainly that room there. We having a good time, talking shit, mostly Buffalo Bills talk. But NFL War Room, go in there, do what you got to do. Too many McDermott era, a lot of ass kissers. Yeah. I thought there was that you mentioned. It's ancient history anyways. It is. It's gone. Well, it's, you know what, Roy? It's ancient history once the season starts. If you're talking about McDermott, like that's why I can't wait either. Like I just want to get that dude out of my brain. You know what I mean? Like just get the season going so I can concentrate on this new era of coaches that we have here in Buffalo. Right? I'm just like, man, I just have so many fucked up memories from Sean McDermott as our head coach. I have some good ones too. I mean, they're not all bad, but I got a lot of fucked up memories because a lot of the really important games that we lost were because of McDermott. It drove me nuts. 2019 was the best defense we had. Then the DL coach left and it went downhill. Yeah, yep. And then obviously once Frazier left too, it went downhill and downhill. Okay, cool, man. Yeah, I heard you in there. So welcome to the Discord, brother. All right, so let's get to the this Dolphins schedule real quick. I was going through. Okay. So they got the Raiders, right? I'm going to give it to them. I think they can win, I think. Then you got San Francisco. They're not beating the 49ers. They're just not. Then they're at home against the Chiefs. They're not beating the Chiefs. Then they're at Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a better team. Plus you're at Minnesota. That's not happening. Then you're home against the Bengals. The Bengals, by this time, they normally start slow, but right around here is where they start to pick it up a little bit. So, and they're the better team. They're going to win at home. Even though they're at home, I still think the Bengals win. Then they got a bye week. Then they're at the Jets. I think they could split against the Jets. So I'm going to have a loss here because they're at New York or New Jersey. So I'm gonna count that one as an L. So right now I got them winning one game at this point. Then they're home against New England. I think the Patriots win. They're the better team. Then they're home against the Lions. I think the Lions are a better team. Then they're at the Colts. The Colts are a better team. Then they're at Buffalo. Clearly, the Buffalo Bills are a better team. They're home against the Jets. I think they're going to beat the Jets at home. All right, so there's 2 wins. I have them winning 2 right there. Then they're at Denver. I think they're going to lose against Denver at Denver. They're home against Chicago. The Bears are the better team. They're going to win. Then they're at Green Bay. I don't see them beating Green Bay, especially in December, cold weather. Forget about it. They're going to lose that game. Then they're home against the Chargers. And I think at this point, the Chargers still have something to play for, too. Probably a playoff spot, because you know how the Chargers are, too. They lose some weird games early on, too. And the Chargers are definitely going to win because they got something to play for, and that's either playoff seeding or wild card, right? Then they're home against us, Buffalo. They're going to lose. And then they're at New England week 18. Now, this all depends on if New England's already clinched or whatever's going on here with New England. So that I don't know. But that's a toss-up. So right there, 2 to 3 games. That is it. That's all I got. That's all I got for the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to give them 3 because I think New England at that point may have secured a wild card spot. But if New England's fighting for that wild card spot, forget about it. New England's going to win. So 2 to 3 games. I mean, that's it, which is wild, right? Like, that's a terrible season, but that gets you a top 3 pick, potentially the best, the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And then the question is for the Miami Dolphins is, do you draft a quarterback? Because it's going to be a much better quarterback draft class in 2027. So that's where you're going to go, oh, shit, what do we do now? For me, you draft a quarterback. I mean, unless Malik Willis goes the fuck off, which if you're winning 2 games at that point, like on my prediction, probably didn't go off. And then you got yourself a decent backup of Malik Willis, which he's been a good backup. He's shown that. And you go and get yourself a quarterback. That's all. Or you draft a quarterback, you start Malik Willis again for year 2. You let your young guy sit behind Malik Willis one more year, his rookie year, whatever. You let Malik play another year, right? And then you start your rookie later on in the season, and you start building around him. But, man, brutal. And let me get to you want to see the Patriots schedule? They don't have it easy either. Patriots could be fighting for the division at that point, too. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Roy. So, I don't know. They could be fighting for a wild card spot. Go Bills podcast. I thought you said this team is going to win a Super Bowl. I did. When have I not talked about the Buffalo Bills? I'm talking about the Miami Dolphins right now and their schedule. What are you talking about? You're talking to me? I think you misheard me, brother. I did not. If you might want to rewind and go back to the beginning of the podcast, brother, when I talked about the Bills schedule and how I have a very tough time finding L's on our schedule because the Bills have proven and shown to me through the years that they could be in any game. It doesn't matter how good the opponent is on paper. So I think you misheard me, brother. I think you misheard me. Gonna be Rams versus Bills or Seahawks. We'll see. I'll say this about Seahawks. It's very tough. Now, of course, there's teams that have done it. But it's very tough usually for teams to repeat, right? To even go back. So I don't think Seattle returns to the Super Bowl this season. I just don't. I came in late. My bad. Thought you were saying we were. Jesus Christ, no. No. Dude, if I'm talking about drafting the quarterback next year, then I have lost my goddamn mind. Okay, I've lost my mind. You probably should turn my channel off right now. Right? Oh, dude, no. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Now I'm going to pull up the Patriots real quick. Let's pull up the Patriots. Let's pull up this Patriots schedule real quick. Because I don't think they don't have an easy schedule either, and they shouldn't, because last year they had a cushy schedule. And, the reality is, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And last year, really the best opponent they beat was us. And the regular season, we split. So it would have been really interesting to play them if we had a chance to play them in the playoffs if we got through Denver. But unfortunately, that just didn't happen. Being the pessimist that I am, I'm picking the Bills to go 11-6. Good news, I'm usually wrong. And you know what? That's not terrible. You know what I mean? I think Mikey has us winning. I want to say he said 12, but maybe he said 11. I think he said 12. I said 13, though. It's so weird because I hate that term homer because I'm confident. Like when I go through the schedule, once again, it's just I go by experience and me covering this team, being a podcaster and knowing this team very well and knowing the opponents and knowing, what people predicted about the Buffalo Bills. And, it's so funny since like 2020 when I started this, we had that really good 2020 season. I'll never forget like going into the off season that year. And this is when I used to listen to national sports media a lot more back in the day. Like I would pay attention to them a lot more. And I just remember like they were hating so much on the Buffalo Bills on how it was a fluke year. There was no fans. Remember that COVID year? And Josh Allen went from 59% completion percentage to 68 or 69, whatever it was. And they're not going to do it again. And they're not going to win the division. And then I remember I think it was the following year, perhaps. They had like the Dolphins winning the division. So it's like, it's kind of been that way. But as I cover the team, as the years went on, it's like, dude, like, yeah, no, bro. Like, we're a good, very, very good team. Like, when we go against these opponents that people are like, oh, they're going to get trounced. They're going to do this against the Bills. Like, yeah, no. Like, the Bills are in all these games. I'm not saying we won all those games. Obviously, clearly, we got games like I talked about earlier when we went to LA a few years ago and lost that shootout. But LA didn't just whip our ass. We were in that game to the very end, right? Like, so it's tough. It's tough picking these games and not feeling like a homer when I have all dubs. But this is the way the Bills have played throughout the years. We are a good team. That's why I keep telling people this team has never laid down to anyone. Like, this team has never been that type of team where we look at a schedule and go, damn, we're not winning that game. That's for sure. That's an L. That's an L. That's an L. That's like back in the day, dude, if I started my podcast during the drought years, this shit, dude, I look at the schedule and be like, L, 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 L. L. There's an L. There's an L. Like, that shit would have been too easy. Right? Dude, I would have had us winning 6 games every year. 6-7 games. Like, and really, if you go back to the Buffalo Bills and those drought years, that's kind of where we always were around. Between 6 and 8 games. Like, that was our mark right there. That was too easy. Dude, if I was a podcaster back then, I don't know how I would have been, to be honest with you, because I think I would have been pissed off for the first couple years, like, oh, I'm fucking tired of this bullshit. But then I would have just kind of been like, oh, I would have just had fun with it. All right, guys. Yeah, here we go. Here we go for another fucking fucked up season. Let's gear up, buckle up for 2005, baby. Oh, my God. Being the pessimist that I am. Okay, I already read that. Okay, I'm also very sleep deprived from being on a 5-day Disney cruise. So my bad. Also drinking as well. Yeah, so that plays a part of it. It's all good, brother. I hope you had a good cruise there. Disney cruise. How's that work? Is that more for the kids, I'm guessing, or like as an adult you have fun? I'm not being like I'm not trying to be negative or anything. I'm just but how is that for adults? You know what I mean? Or is that just more for kids? Like when you go to Disney World, for instance, right? It's mainly for your kids. But when you go to Universal Studios, at least for me, Islands of Adventure, even Universal Studios in California that I went to, you can have fun as an adult and your kids can still have a good time too. But Disney World, for me, you know what I mean? That's more for your kids, right? You're going there for your kids. Family thing. So how's the cruise is what I'm asking. Is it fun for adults as well? 13 wins is the floor for Bills. All right, I like that. 2020 was special. It was a start of good things to come, right? At least for like Josh Allen and really Josh Allen. That was kind of the coming out party for Josh Allen, right? And coming out and not the other way, right? Coming out in a good way, right? Like here he is, right? Like the dude went from people, not believing in him, believing that he was a bad pick, right? Because we still had, remember, guys, 2018-2019 season, there was a lot of haters regarding Josh Allen, a ton, right? I remember listening to, was it Fox? And they were like talking about the games pregame. And who's the one dude on Fox, the old quarterback? God, I forget his name. From played in Pittsburgh for a while. But I remember him knocking Josh Allen big time and saying that he'll never be an accurate quarterback. He'll never get his completion percentage up. I mean, just throwing him under the bus. Like, he will never be that guy, right? And he was completely wrong. Completely wrong. It wasn't Big Ben. It's the older quarterback that used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I forget his damn name. Shame on me. But, dude, he's not the only one, though. 2018, like I said, Josh Allen, Terry Bradshaw. Thank you, Roy. Those 2 years were brutal for media, for fan bases around that were poking fun of the Buffalo Bills drafting Josh Allen. You all remember, if you guys are Bills fans, you remember this. 2020 came along, and that's when Josh made that huge leap. But what people don't know outside of Buffalo, the people that really truly know this team and watch this team like I do, right? And know about what Josh Allen did that offseason. It wasn't a fluke. And the dude went out and, really every year since he got drafted was with Palmer, was with Ken Dorsey in 2019. I believe 2019 was Ken Dorsey came along as quarterback coach. He was a huge help. Palmer. And then in 2020, or at least in that 2019 offseason, heading into 2020, he met a specialist who basically changed his mechanics. And basically Josh Allen came to realize that his throwing motion was way off. And it was hurting him, right? And it was affecting the way he was throwing his completion percentage. Once he figured that out and got with that guy, and then everything else, you saw the difference. And what many don't know, and people just, they just assumed, he got a fluky, or he won't do it again, and he's still trash and turnover machine. Well, he proved everybody wrong from that date forward, from the end of that 2020, moving forward, right? Josh Allen has not really looked back. You know what I mean? So, and finally, those naysayers, those people that talk hella shit about Josh Allen for, 2018, 2019, 2020, even 2020, going into that all season was now they're understanding on how special Josh Allen is and what it took for him to get where he's at today. Right? It wasn't just luck. He just didn't all of a sudden get better overnight because, it just happened. Like, he put a lot of work in. But, they don't see it like that. They just want to, they just want to look at the stats 2018, 19 and go, oh, no way he can be better all of a sudden. Like, because they didn't put the work in, like me, like other Bills podcasters. I don't know what that means. Disney could be fun if you get in good with Cinderella. Oh, Roy. By the way, y'all don't know Roy, I believe, right? Roy retired. Recently retired. He is chilling at home. It's him and Callie Bills. So Callie Bills retired last year, and Roy retired, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I could be wrong on that, but I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Was his final day at work. He clocked out for the last time, and that's it. Roy now gets to just chill at home, have a beer or have whatever drink he's having, and watch podcasts and watch Buffalo Bills football and watch Twilight Zone, watch, Back to the Future, whatever he wants to do. Congratulations, brother. That's awesome. I wish I could be in your shoes. I really do. Bradshaw. Yeah, Bradshaw's an idiot. He certainly is. Go Bills podcast. Happiest place on earth. My snow. On the John Murphy show before the 2018 draft, John Murphy wanted the Bills to draft Sam Darnold. They said Josh had horrible accuracy. He couldn't throw the ball in Lake Erie if he wanted to. Yeah, see, a lot of people had that wrong. And it is what it is. I think they looked at the guy playing for a small school in Wyoming. He did have bad completion percentage. That is true. There was things that Josh needed to work on. I get it, but, credit to Josh. He had the tools. He just needed to work on his craft, and he needed to want to get better, right? And he did that. He did just that. So, those people understand now what good work ethic is all about. Oh, yeah, 2 weeks retired. There you go, Roy. I was right. Good for you, brother. Good for you. All right, let's get to the Patriots schedule. I got stuff. By the way, we're an hour in. I haven't even gotten to the good stuff, right? I started with this because somebody asked me about the Bills schedule, and then I'm like, damn, you know what? Thinking about our schedule, damn, the Dolphins got a brutal schedule, and then now I'm on to New England. Okay, so here's New England. So they start off the season at Seattle. Whew. Rough. I mean, that is rough. That is a tough way to start your season out. Then you're home against Pittsburgh. I think they can win that game. I think they lose against Seattle. I think they could beat Pittsburgh at home. They're at Jacksonville. Listen, Jacksonville's getting better. We saw that last year. I don't think they're going to regress. I think they're going to take another step forward. I think Trevor Lawrence finally got it right. How good can he be? I don't know. But he did take a step forward. You got to give credit to his growth as a quarterback, because it was, if you're a Jacksonville fan up until last year, you were kind of concerned, right, about Trevor Lawrence, right? And not saying he was bad, but for all the hype, he really wasn't living up to it, right? But last year, he had a much better season. So, and they got playmakers, right? We know that. So, to me, they lose that game because they're at Jacksonville, and that does matter. Then they're at Buffalo. I don't think they're beating us in home, in Buffalo. They're home against the Raiders. They're going to beat the Raiders, right? So there's 2 wins right there. I'm sorry. There's what do I have winning? 2 wins, right? Pittsburgh and the Raiders. Then they're home against the Jets. I think they beat the Jets. They're at Chicago. I don't think they beat Chicago at Chicago. They're at Miami. There's a win, right? There's 3. They're home against Green Bay. I don't know. That is a toss-up. They're at home, which is good for them. But Green Bay is such... Micah Parsons should be back by then. He should be. Week 9. You know, I think he's going to return like probably week 6, week 7. So, you know, I think if Parsons is playing then, it makes a world of difference. I think they lose that game. I think they lose against the Lions as well. I think they beat LA in LA. I do. Though it's not an easy win, but I think they could pick that one up. That's 3 wins, right? So they got. So what did I give them? I gave them Pittsburgh. I gave them Las Vegas. That's 2. I gave them the Jets. That's 3. Okay, and Los Angeles 4. So there's 4 wins. They're home against Buffalo. Now that's a toss-up. So let's say I'm going to be nice. Let's say you give them the win there, right? Whatever. I'm going to be nice, though I don't think they're going to beat us. But let's just for the shits and giggles, let's say they split the series with us. So there's 5. I think they can beat Minnesota at home. There's 6. I don't think they beat the Chiefs at Chiefs. I think they beat the Jets at Jets. That's 7. I think they lose against Denver. I think they win against Miami. It's 8. That's it. I haven't won 8 games. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, is there a game there? Maybe 9. Let's toss in one of those games where, you know, I called it an L. So let's say 9. Okay, so let's say they beat the Lions. Let's say though the Lions are a tough team, bro, offensively. Now, what's going good for New England is defensively, right? And maybe they can match what Detroit brings offensively. So, in that they're at home. So let's give them that win, Roy. Let's be nice and give them that win. There's your 9th win. 9 wins is not going to do it. It's not going to get you in the playoffs unless it's just a terrible AFC, right? Like, once again, I'm not trying to shit on Patriot fans or Dolphin fans. I'm just looking at the schedule and your opponents and where you're playing on the road or at home. And I have a tough time finding wins for some of these teams. Hey, Cole from Buffalo. How you been, brother? Long time no talk. Hey, brother, how are you? Well, can't stay, but wanted to make sure I said hello. Hey, dude. I hope you're doing well, brother. And for those that don't know, Cole from Buffalo, friend of the channel, he has his own podcast. Go over there, show him some love and support, and go ahead and subscribe to his channel because I'm sure he's going to start picking things up once football season starts to pick up in August or late July, August when training camp begins and then preseason, all that. But he does good stuff over there, man. Roy, 9 wins probably doesn't get you a playoff spot. No, it doesn't, unless the AFC is bad, right? Unless somehow, or the East is bad, unless Buffalo like shits the bed. 9 does not normally get you in. Like that's what I was talking about in 2017 when Buffalo got in with 9 wins. That just doesn't happen a lot. It usually takes 10. It usually takes 10 to get you in. So now can New England win 10? Sure they can. But man, you know, like, and I'm giving them, by the way, I'm giving them 4 wins right away for the Jets and the Dolphins, right? Same as Buffalo. Like, that's a 4 right there. That's an easy 4. But everything else, like, you know, I got to be like, even the Pittsburgh game, they should win, but I don't know if that's a pushover game. You know what I mean? Like, that's also a game that they could lose. Like, if you go back to last year, I believe they lost to Pittsburgh last year. Am I wrong on that? I believe they did. So, you know, it could happen, right? You know, but could they beat a team like you said, like the Detroit Lions at home? Sure. You know what I mean? Now that game's at 9:30 in the morning though, at home. Where is that? That has to be that has to be an international game, no? 9:30 in the morning. So is that really a home game then? Let me see here, because that changes everything, Roy. That changes everything. If you're counting that as the win there, let me see here. Patriots Lions. Patriots versus Lions 2026. That game is being played in Germany. So that changes things, Roy. Roy, now does that change your opinion on the game now that the game is not being played in New England? For me, it does, because it's not home field anymore. And that's why I hate international games, by the way. I can't stand them. But the NFL's not going to stop that. Matter of fact, they're going to continue it. They're going to continue doing it, and they're going to add more international games as the years go on, which is terrible. For me, it's awful. But for the NFL, they love it. They love it. They're money, baby. But it just sucks for the team losing that real home field advantage. Home field advantage in the NFL does matter, folks. It does. No, unless Vrabel hooks up in Germany. Really? You think so? You think that the Patriots are a better team than the Lions? Like, you're that sure? Like, I don't know, dude. Like, did you see what the Patriots look like in the playoffs? Yes, I get it. They got to the Super Bowl, but offensively, they were bad. Now, defensively, the Patriots, that's the one thing going for them. Now, they did add A.J. Brown. I get that. And this is another year with Drake May. If he gets better, maybe the offense starts to, looks better than what we saw the last time we saw him in the playoffs, right? So, but look, the Lions are no pushover. They got a very good offense, a ton of weapons, and defensively, now, they got some, corner right now, I would say is like the Lions like have an issue going on there, but they got one of the best premier pass rushers in the game, and Hutchinson, he's going to get after May. So for me, I'll tell you what, Roy, that is a toss-up for me. That game, I have no idea. If it was in New England, I might lean more into the Patriots' way because it's at home. But being in Germany, and how those games go, 9:30 in the morning, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough, man. Playing in another country. For me, I don't know which way I'm going to go there. For me, I don't know. I expect the Patriots with 11 wins. I agree with your theory, but Vrabel's worth at least 2. Yeah, I get that, but it's also a much tougher schedule. And the last time I saw the Patriots play offensively, Drake May was bad. Right now, that's not saying he's going to continue that, but they also had a much easier schedule last year. This is a way different schedule this year compared to last. It's going to tell a lot about Drake May, 1, and 2, really just the whole Patriots team. So I'm very interested. Now, with that being said, could they win 11? Sure, they could. Of course they could, right? I'm not saying they're a bad team. It just they got a way tougher schedule than they did last year. They do, right? And here we go, right? If you're, I'll say this, like, if the Patriots go on and win 11, 12 games, they're going to shut a lot of people up, right, including myself. But I don't buy into them just quite yet. I gotta see another season, with what they got, right? Drake May, and can they beat the best now? Now that they got a way tougher schedule, can they go on the streak that they did last year? Because that's what they did. They went on a really good winning streak. And it started with beating the Buffalo Bills. Like, we started that streak, right? We also ended it. Didn't we end that streak when we beat them? Better team, no, just giving them a win. Yeah, I don't even know if they're. I think that team. I think it's kind of evenly matched in a way because I feel like the Patriots defense, can shut or at least slow down. I don't know if they can shut down the Lions, but I think they can slow down the Lions. The question is, can the Patriots offense do enough to get the win? Right? If that's fair to say. May also has better weapons. He does. He absolutely does. AJ Brown's damn good. We know this. I mean, I totally agree. So it's going to be interesting. Really, really interesting. But that's their schedule. And like I said, I have them winning 8, maybe 9. Right? And let's give them 9. I'll give them 9. I think I said 9. I'll toss in a win. That's right. I did change my mind. I said the Lions. So. Even though right now I'm still on the fence with that Lions game, I'll give them that game. But there is a potential to win 10 or 11. So very interesting. Very interesting. All right. So that's that for that portion of the schedule. So it's going to be an interesting year, man. It really is, especially in the AFC. All right. Now, what are we in? Hour and 10 minutes? Okay, so we're doing good. Let's get to I saw this article by Rumblings, and we'll go through this quick because we kind of did cover this briefly last week, but they had their own poll for Bills Mafia. Rumblings did about Buffalo's biggest roster concern in 2026. And I'll show you the poll real quick. I'll read a little bit what they said. So here's their poll, how it closed out. So the majority of Bills Mafia, their concern was the linebacker at 57%, defensive tackle at 17%, wide receiver at 14%, edge at 7%, and DB at 5%. Now, do you guys agree with that? Or what would you change about that? Just curious. What's your biggest concern? Is it linebacker? Is it defensive tackle, wide receiver, edge? What do you guys got? Do the Jets. Let's make fun of them, bro. The Jets. Yeah, I'll do the Jets. I don't mind popping up the Jets real quick. The Jets. I think I counted the Jets at 2 wins because I think I had them splitting with Miami. That gave them a win. I'll pull them up real quick. Let me pop that off real quick. The Jets. Let's see here. Let's pop up the Jets real quick. Okay. All right. The Jets. Schedule. Okay, here we go. So let me share the screen. Here we go. Okay. So here's the Jets schedule for 2026. So they're at Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is in a rebuild mode, obviously. They are, they're doing the right things for their franchise quarterback, right? Or hopefully franchise quarterback in Cam Ward. They did add pieces. I thought they had a good offseason. Let's see here. Shout out Timmy. Tommy. Yeah, that's right. Timmy and Tommy. What's going on, Matt Chatter? I think they lose that game. I think Tennessee's a better team. But Tennessee's going to, I think Tennessee's going to have a better year than they did last year, but they're still, they got a little while to go before they can start sniffing the playoffs. But I think Tennessee did enough in the offseason where they're going to improve a little bit, win some more games this year. And I don't think the Jets beat Tennessee at Tennessee. Then they're home against Green Bay. That's a loss. Or at Detroit. That's a loss. Or at Chicago. That's a loss. They're home against Cleveland. I think Cleveland's still better, even though Cleveland is a bad team. I think Cleveland wins. They're at New England. I think New England wins. They're home against Miami. I think they beat Miami. So there's their first win against Miami. They're home against the Raiders. That could be a win, but I'm going to say no. I think Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback there. I think the Raiders have just a little bit more, playmakers than the Jets do. I'll say the Raiders pull out a close win, though I think that's close. That could kind of go both. The Jets could win, but I think the Raiders are a little bit better. I'll go the Raiders. So right now, I got them down as what? 1 win against Miami. They lose against Kansas City. They lose against Buffalo. They lose against Miami. I'm sorry, they lose against the Chargers. They lose against Miami. They're on a bye week. Then they're home against Denver. They lose that one. They're at Arizona. Now, Arizona is bad. Arizona is bad. Now, they're in Arizona. That could be a win. Arizona is awful. That's tough. Because I'm a nice guy, I think they beat Arizona. There's 2 wins. They're home against New England. They lose against New England. They're home against Minnesota. Minnesota's better, but not by much. But Minnesota wins probably in a close game, but Minnesota wins. Now, they're at Buffalo week 18. Depending on what Buffalo is doing at that point, meaning are they fighting for a playoffs like a position, right? You know, positioning in the playoff. Are they fighting for maybe a wild card because not having a great season? It depends. Now, is Buffalo locked up already? Won the division, not fighting for a playoff seed? If that's the case, they may beat Buffalo. If Buffalo has nothing to play for and they play their, Buffalo plays their backup. So they could I don't know. That's a question mark. So right now, I would say 2, maybe 3 games is where I see the Jets this season, 2 or 3. And that's kind of where I had Miami. So that's what I'm saying. They're going to be fighting for that bottom, the worst record possibly in the NFL. Tennessee signing a DT to $100 billion. Nuts. Listen, Tennessee has money. Let them do what they got to do. You know what I mean? I thought Tennessee had a pretty good offseason. I'm not going to hate on their offseason. For me, you got to build around Cam Ward, and I think they're starting to do that. If Geno could clean those turnovers, they could surprise a team or 2. Yeah, I don't think so. Geno Smith he's starting to regress. He's starting to regress. I think he had his little moment. He had his little time there, but you could kind of see the regression over the last few seasons, in my opinion. Going back to play for the Jets is probably not a good thing for him, to be honest with you as well. The Jets is just it's a bad organization. Quarterbacks normally don't do well with the Jets. So it didn't go well his first time around, and I don't think it's going to go well his second time around, to be honest with you. So, yeah, no, I think they're going to win 2 or 3 games. Geno Smith is he's just a guy they're just adding in for the year as he's a Band-Aid. They're going to win 2 or 3 games, and they're going to draft a quarterback, and that's the right thing to do. That is absolutely the right thing to do. And I don't know how long Geno Smith is there for his contract, but you're going to have him there as a backup, once you draft your quarterback, and that's okay. Same thing with Miami. I think that's probably what's going to wind up happening for the Dolphins. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if they don't draft a quarterback and they go all in on Malik Willis, boy, they better be right, because next year's quarterback draft class is going to be way better. And listen, Dolphin fans are going to freak the fuck out if they pass up on a guy that is a potential franchise quarterback for Malik Willis, who is a journeyman kind of backup, right? The only way, if I'm a Dolphin fan, when it comes to Malik Willis, like I said earlier, is if he has some kind of special year, but he has to have some kind of year where I'm like, okay. But for me, even if he has like a Ryan Fitzpatrick, Buffalo Bills type season, still don't do the same mistake we did. And that's not, I'm not trying to shit on Ryan Fitzpatrick, but no, you got to draft a quarterback. He's not the answer, right? He's a journeyman backup quarterback. He's a guy that's going to be floating around the NFL like a Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Just getting paid, right? But not producing, right? It's not what you want. That's how bad franchises remain bad, making mistakes like that. So we'll see when it comes to Malik Willis. I mean, he is boy, he is the biggest question mark going into this season as far as quarterback goes for the NFL. I believe he's one of the biggest ones. All right, so that's it. We made fun of the Jets. All right, so nobody answered, nobody cared about what your position group. I would say that's accurate for me. I would have probably put linebacker. I think the Bills will address it. I think they'll add a veteran linebacker at some point. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think it's going to be during the course of training camp preseason when teams start to do their cut downs. I think that's what the Bills are waiting on. So I don't expect any signings from between now and training camp. I just don't. I think right now everything's on pause, and that goes for around the league. I think a lot of teams right now are on pause. Tommy, I'm proud of you. You are keeping up with the chat. Thank you. The chat's not going crazy tonight, though. Chat's it's mellow. Sometimes the chat gets tough. Defensive tackle for me. A lot of young, unproven players. That's a good point. That's a good point. There is some proven, though. I mean, I'm not saying like elite, but Ed Oliver, he's been around the league long. I know what Ed Oliver can bring when healthy, right? I know what who else is on that defensive tackle. So I know what Ed Oliver can bring. You might be right on that outside of Ed Oliver, because you got a young Deion Walker who I think is going to take another step forward in 2026. I like what I saw from him in 2025. But yeah, you're right. You don't know what you're going to get out of Mathis. He's another guy. Carter, right? So I'm with you on that. But I still say the linebacker, because I don't think Williams is going to win that job over Elarms Orr. I think Elarms Orr, to be honest with you guys, I think it's his job to lose at this point. I really do. I think Leonhard is kind of sold on him right now. That's his guy. That's his draft pick. It's the kind of guy that Leonhard feels fits in his system, right? And what he sees and envisions in this defense. Dorian Williams is the guy he inherited. Let's be real. And Dorian Williams has been injured. So he's not really making a good case of getting that starting nod. So Elarms Orr, as a young guy, young player, is probably going to get that nod next to Terrell Bernard, who I like Bernard. I do. I don't have a problem with Bernard. I think when healthy, he's another guy like Ed Oliver who makes plays, right? And is valuable to this team. But the problem is he's hurt a lot, right? Like, can he stay healthy? If he can stay healthy, he can produce. And that's what I need. I need a guy that can produce, right, out there, right? A player that can produce. So if he can stay healthy along with Elarms Orr, that's a good that's a good combo right there. But I still feel like they probably need to get a veteran linebacker in the room as well, right? And I think they will add that. I will say the defense depth is better than the linebacker depth. Yeah, it is. It is. Not by much, though, but it is. All right, so that's it for that one. All right, so we got an article here real quick. Bills Wire. It's real quick. 3 reasons why the Bills offense will improve during the 2026 NFL season. All right. So let's see what they got to say here. First one, O-line continuity. The Bills did lose David Edwards, left guard David Edwards, and RVD this offseason via free agency. However, 4 of 5 starters will return on Buffalo Bills offensive line after Connor McGovern re-signed with the team. PFF ranked the Bills O-line as the 6th best in the NFL last year. Keeping most of the continuity is something that goes under the radar. And I agree, and I've been saying that, right? Like, listen, the game is won in the trenches, right? It's very important to have a good offensive line in the NFL. Very important. And I felt like the Bills early on, you know, in the Josh Allen era, didn't really have that good of an offensive line. And they finally figured it out that, hey, if we want to run the ball, we want to keep Allen on his feet more, right? Not on his back. You got to have protection. And if you want to run the ball, you got to have good run blocking, right? And that means you need to win up front. And you can't keep playing musical chairs in offense at that position. And, you know, Deion Dawkins was pretty much the guy there from 2017 to 2018, 2019. It was just by himself there for a long time while we just kept rotating on that offensive line. And, you know, you're never going to build continuity. Finally, they got Mitch Morse, he was here a little while, and that started it, right? And then obviously we picked up Cromer, who understood that, you know, player development, understood how to do player development and teach these youngsters, get these guys on track, like Spencer Brown, who we drafted, who now is a long-term offensive lineman on this team, right? Then you drafted Osiris Torrance, right? Another guy that's been on this team now, going into his 4th year. And they are in talks, or at least talks, they're starting to, you know, negotiate a deal, an extension, which I hope and think they will get done. It's very important. And they locked up Connor McGovern, who was a free agent who wound up working out, right, at center, so much so that they wound up giving him, you know, re-signing him. And all they lost was the left guard and David Edwards. And look, David Edwards was fine. He was serviceable. I don't think he was bad, but I also don't feel like he was the long-term solution. They need to find that still. Could it be Alec Anderson? I don't know. You know, I think that's what they're maybe hoping for. And Alec Anderson's fine as far as like what I've seen, as far as when a guy goes down, he comes in, he can play kind of anywhere on the line and he holds his own. But can he hold his own full time? That's the question, right? I think that's what we're all wondering, right? Time will tell, right? Time will tell. He's also he's not going to just win that job. He's in a camp battle as well. So we'll find out. But point being, yes, the O-line has drastically changed from early on in Allen's time here, since we drafted him, to now, where it is now. Much better. And you see guys like James Cook benefiting from that. And even Josh Allen benefiting from having a good offensive line, which will also buy the quarterback more time to find his weapons, right? The longer you have time back there, the better it is. Right? So, yeah, I agree with that. DJ Moore trickle-down effect. DJ Moore's brought in via trade this spring to be quarterback Josh Allen's number 1 receiver. If Moore establishes himself in that role, not only will his production improve the offense, it will allow other receivers to thrive. And yes, absolutely. Talked about this multiple times. What we've been missing over the last few years is is a guy that Allen could depend on, right? A go-to guy. It's not so much about, a 1,500-yard receiver. It's not about that. It's about, we need a big play here. Who are we going to? Who's the most reliable guy? Who can Allen depend on? More importantly, obviously, Allen. Who can Allen depend on? And we didn't really have that guy over the last 2 years. We had it with Diggs, right? And then we lost it when Diggs left. And we never had the answer for that, right? And we didn't go out and get the answer, right? And it hurt us. It did. Our offense, when we look back and you look back the last 2 years, our offense numbers weren't terrible. So I know people get twisted and be like, oh man, we were a top 5 offense. Look at our scoring. I get that. But if you watch like I watch and you watch the games that when we went against better opponents, meaning better defenses, and we needed these plays to be had, this is where we struggled. And we struggled because we didn't have a go-to guy, which was a number 1, a true number 1. And then also, just like that article said, when you have that guy, it opens it up for everyone else. It makes everyone else's job a lot easier, right? Because now defenses are honed in on the guy that's the go-to guy, the guy that could do the most damage. Now you're freeing up, or you're taking less eyes off guys like Khalil Shakir, guys like Keon Coleman, right? Even Dalton Kincaid, right? That's what the benefits are of having a true number one. DJ Moore is no slouch either, right? I feel like, Bills Mafia, they expected us to get like Justin Jefferson. They expected us to go out and get, just wow everybody with a, somehow pick up Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. Like, those are elite guys. And, when we're talking elite quarterbacks, elite receivers, elite running backs, I mean, there's only 2 or 3, right? There's a very small list, and then there's really good and, good and, average, below average. But I would say, to be fair, DJ Moore, if you look at his career and what he's worked with and all the quarterbacks and coaches and offensive coordinators, and you put all that, into, DJ Moore's career and what he's done, I feel like he's done a great job. He is a very good receiver. For me, guys, it's not all stats don't always tell the whole picture. It doesn't always paint the whole picture. Sorry. It doesn't tell you everything, right? And I try to tell people that all the time, especially those that want to debate and use like analytics and stats to always prove their point. And sometimes it's more than it goes beyond stats and analytics, right? There's other things that play a factor in this. And it's true. Oh, it's damn true. If you guys don't know that reference, it's Kurt Angle. Come on, man. Offensive stats were good overall, but in contrast to wide receiver numbers, wide receiver numbers were piss poor. You're talking about DJ Moore? So listen, once again, it's not always about stats and analytics when it comes to this is what I'm gonna do for you guys, because this is great. I'm glad that we're talking about DJ Moore now. And this is kind of where I'm going with this, and how when I evaluate players and coaches and all this shit, right, that I do, I really truly try my best to factor everything in, right, and go, okay, why is this numbers here? Why is this happening? Why is this Josh Allen's interceptions up? Why is he taking more hits? Blah blah blah. Like, right? There's always more to it than just, man, right? He threw the interception, terrible, right? Like, okay, why? Like, okay, what happened in that play? Tell me how it broke down, right? Did the offensive line do their job there? You know what I mean? There's a lot to it, right? And when you're looking at players and what they've done throughout their career, right, you have to factor in everything that's taken place for that player. Listen, I'm telling you, the guys, a lot of podcasts, they don't do that. A lot of national sports media, all they do is pop up a stat sheet and go, that's shitty, that's crap, look what he did last year, boo, okay, but why? Why? Tell me why. Why is that? Why is that? Did he benefit from having this guy? You know what I mean? Like, or did his numbers go down because the offensive line was poor and the quarterback was poor, right? There's always more to it. Kurt Angle reference. See, Roy gets it. Okay, so what was this? What was I popping up here? Okay, let me finish this and we're going to get on the DJ Moore thing, okay? And the last thing on this is a new defense. The Bills moved on from McDermott, so a new defense could be put in place. New defense coordinator Jim Leonhard is in charge now, and if his unit and provide more support for the offense, man, they got to fix their writing here. That will go a long way. So basically, what they're saying is what I'm saying. Like if their defense can do the goddamn job, it will obviously help the offense. All right. So let me pull something up real quick. Bear with me, because I kind of want to show you guys what I'm talking about here when I evaluate these type of players and where I'm coming from, and to be like fair. You know what I mean? Like let's be fair here when we're talking about the game of football, right? And everything goes into the game of football, and what it takes to be, a player at that position, right? CBS put Bills on their biggest bust potential list. Well, yeah, CBS has also counted the Bills out many years. I could care less about CBS. You know what I mean? But look, people that watch the Buffalo Bills, people that know Buffalo Bills, people that know this team, knows Josh Allen, they know the deal. Okay, we're a damn good team. I would say look, the only time I have a hard time defending the Buffalo Bills is if we were talking playoff. We're talking playoff losses, right? Like important games in the playoffs, and not making it to a Super Bowl. Like I have a tough time defending that because we haven't done the job. Regular season wise, though, wins wise, dude, like that we have proven to be a 12-win team, 13-win team every year over the last 7 years. Like, until proven otherwise, I'm not going to buy into anyone saying that the Bills are all now going to be, a bust or, a team that's going to regress, overnight. It just simply not going to be the case. Not that I see. My comment was about last season, okay. I still want to get into the DJ Moore thing though, because I feel like people maybe don't understand where I'm coming from, or maybe people never really heard me talk about this before, about DJ Moore and receivers and all that stuff. When it comes to their yards and all that, and what plays a factor and all that. It amazes me that once McDermott is gone, now the narrative changes to the exact thing that he preached. I could care less who the coach is with J17, but damn. Look, man, the narrative is one thing. We need to get the job done. We got to win a Super Bowl, period. All right, give me 1 second. Let me pull this up real quick. And then we'll get to talking about what I'm talking about. Okay? All right. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, I want to kind of do a little side by side here. Well, not side by side, but I'll pop it up. I think I could do it in the same chat here. I believe I can. Let me pop that up. Okay. So, and I already know the answer to this, but I'm gonna pop this up for you guys so you know, because I like I said, once again, I do my homework outside of stats and analytics, right? And all this plays a big part, and people don't want to talk about it, or people don't want to use it in their assessment of DJ Moore or any player, that they're talking about, or quarterback or whatever. But anyways, DJ Moore has played with 11 different starting quarterbacks in the NFL. 11 guys. So right away, I'm going to tell you this. If you're an NFL receiver, and ask any NFL receiver, or hear any NFL receiver talk about quarterbacks they play with, especially poor ones, bad ones. When you play with that many starting quarterbacks as a receiver, for one, it takes a lot for these guys to get chemistry down with quarterbacks. That's one. Two, every quarterback is different in their mechanic and how they throw their football. Every single one. right? That plays a big part of the communication and the chemistry between a quarterback and a star receiver, or any receiver. It doesn't even matter, star receiver, just a receiver and a quarterback, right? And all that does play a factor, right? And then obviously, if you're a poor quarterback and you don't have the strongest arm and you don't have the greatest accuracy, all that, of course, once again, plays a part of this, right? So now, here's the quarterback. So you have Cam Newton, who, by the way, Cam Newton at this time was not the Cam Newton of old, not the MVP candidate, right? Let's be real. Kyle Allen, we all know him. He's our backup quarterback. Taylor Heineke. He's a serviceable backup. Will Grier. Teddy Bridgewater, at this point, he's a backup. PJ Walker. Sam Darnold, at this time, wasn't, he was still trying to find his way. He's only there 1 year. Baker Mayfield, at this point, at the stage of his career, still kind of finding his way. He's only there 1 year. Justin Fields. Once again, we know what Justin Fields brings to the table. Tyson Bagent. Backup. Played for Caleb Williams 1 year, right? I believe 1 year. Maybe 2. I think he played with him 2 years, actually. That's 11. Now will be his 12th. 12th for Josh Allen. That's a lot. I believe DJ Moore was drafted in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. That's a damn lot of quarterbacks. That's a shit ton of quarterbacks to be going through as a wide receiver and still put up good stats. Now, we're going to pull up his stats, too, to kind of prove, with all that being said, he was consistently putting up numbers, and that is not an easy thing to do. All right, not to poop on your parade, but people were saying how much better Curtis Samuel would be. Yeah, but there's a difference. Curtis Samuel didn't, so you're not pooping on my parade. Curtis Samuel's I don't think he was terrible. However, if you're going to compare side by side Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore and what they've done in their career, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. And we're going to pull that stuff. Matter of fact, just to kind of, because I like that you said to poo-poo on my parade, because you're not going to poo-poo on my parade on that. And I don't, I get your point, but Curtis Samuel is not a wide receiver one like DJ Moore. There's a big difference in the two, right? So it's not poo-poo on my parade. I get your point, and it's a valid kind of point about, fans were, hey, now look, Curtis Samuel. But Curtis Samuel's never considered the guy, right? DJ Moore was always considered the guy when he got drafted. He was going to be the one. So Curtis Samuel, right? I think his best season was with, if I'm not mistaken, Carolina. Let's see here. Curtis Samuel, his best years. Let's see here. What is going on here? Okay. Best year was 851 in 2020. Never cracked 1,000. Okay. Now, you want to go to DJ Moore, and we're not done yet with this DJ Moore thing because there's more to it. It's not just about quarterback, right? Like, that comes into play here. And this is kind of where I'm going with this. So it's not pooping on my parade because I'm not done. Okay. DJ Moore, right? His stats. Okay. And we're going to go over this again. But 2018's rookie year, 788. Let's say 800. Let's round it off. 2019, 1175. 2020, 1193. 2021, 1157. 2022, 888. 2023, 1364. 2024, 966. And then 2025 was his worst overall production at 682. But I'll talk about that last season in a second. So they're way different in what they did as far as production, right? Because production counts on also, and that's kind of proving my point with Curtis Samuel. Yes, people said that. He also didn't have the greatest quarterbacks either. But with that being said, he also didn't do what DJ Moore did with that production. with those quarterbacks. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's not just about stats. It's stats play a part, but you got to remember when I'm talking about here about all the quarterbacks that he played with, and the production was still there on top of it. So now, Roy, if we're talking about DJ Moore, and I'm talking about all these quarterbacks, and he has Curtis Samuel stats, production, never cracked 1,000 in his career. You know what I mean? For the most part, he's been a 600-yard receiver. Then this is kind of we'll see what happens now that he has Josh Allen narrative. You understand my point? But that's not the case. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And there's a very similar player that I'll get to in a second. And Roy, you've been watching this team long enough, and you'll know the name when I say it. And you'll understand the meaning behind it. So yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, yes, stats, analytics, they matter. They're part of the process of evaluating a player. But it's not the whole it's not the whole thing that when I do evaluation, what comes into play, right? It's not just stats and analytics. Making you take your stand on DJ Moore, busting your chops. No, I get it, but I'm just trying to also make the audience know, and not in you, maybe, I don't know, about production and what he had to work with, and the production was there with this. All right, now, next up, and I already know the answer to this too, but I'll pop it up. How many head coaches has DJ Moore had in his career? And does this matter? Absolutely it does. Okay, you ready for how many coaches that DJ Moore has played with? Head coaches? He's on his 6th. Ron Rivera, Parafuel, Matt Rule, Steve Wilkes, Matt Uvers, Joe Brady. Actually, he's on his 7th because they're missing. So they made a mistake because they're missing the Bears head coach from last year, which was Ben Johnson. So he's actually on a 7th head coach, right? Why does that make a difference? Because every coach has a different vision, has a different scheme and what they want to do, right? Is he an offensive-minded head coach? Is he a defensive-minded head coach? Everything changes at that point when you have a new head coach. It's very tough for any player in any position on a team to go through that many coaches in your career and be consistent, right? Put consistent numbers up, right? Because everything changes once a new coaching staff comes in. Now, the next thing that I find very important, how many OCs has DJ Moore had in his career? Said 7. Norv Turner, Scott Turner, Joe Brady, Ben McAdoo, Luke Getsy, Shane Waterman, and Pete Carmichael is his 7th now. Once again, different coordinators, different schemes, different ways of, what they have, envisioned for the offense that season. That all plays a factor in whatever position you're at. If you're offensively, it's gonna matter. If you're defensively a player, it's gonna matter. Of course it is. You know this. We've been through it. We know exactly how change affects players, right? And when you have that type of turnover, you're going to expect some changes from your players, some ups and downs. But if your player is consistently showing production, with all this being said, to me, that tells me that's a damn good player. Now, Roy and everybody else that's paying attention, that's getting where I'm going from, right? So that's, look, 12 starting quarterbacks, 6 head coaches, 7 offensive coordinator. 7 offensive coordinator. That makes a great talking point on my show. It's funny. ChatGPT. All right, now. Here's the player I want to compare him to. How many? By the way, not the same amount, but pretty damn bad. I believe it's so it's a lot. So he played, so now we're talking Eric Moulds. Eric Moulds, Jim Kelly, his last year. Jim Kelly was 1996. He was done. It was his last year. He was not the same Jim Kelly. Once again, it's kind of like the Cam Newton talk when you come, talking about DJ Moore. Todd Collins, Alex Van Pelt, Doug Flutie. Doug Flutie, I like Doug Flutie, dude, but let's be real, right? They had a good connection, but Doug Flutie was what he was, right? Rob Johnson, terrible. Drew Bledsoe, I thought that was he had a good quarterback 1 year, right? Drew Bledsoe gave him the best he could. JP Lossman, I like JP, but he's Kelly Holcomb, David Carr when he went to the Texans his last year. Vince Young, Kerry Collins. He played for Eric Moulds, played for 11 starting quarterbacks. I think it's actually less. I want to say it was 9, I think, for Moulds. 6 offensive coordinators, 4 head coaches. If you're comparing the two, look, so DJ Moore 12, 6, and 7. Moulds, obviously, we know 5 receiving yards short of 10,000 yards. Now, let's compare their stats, their career. I think I spelled career wrong. That's okay. All right, so Eric Moulds, 12 seasons. DJ Moore, 8 games, 186 to 131. Reception, 764 to 608. Receiving yards, 9,995 for Eric Moulds, 5 short of 10,000. DJ Moore, 8,213. Receiving touchdowns, 49 to 41. Yards per catch, 13.1 to 13.5. 1,000-yard seasons, Moulds, 4. DJ Moore, 5. 90-plus catch seasons, 2 for Moulds, 4 for Moore. 100-catch seasons, 1 for Moulds, 0 for Moore. Pro Bowls, Moulds made 3, Moore made 1. First-team All-Pro, Moulds 1, DJ Moore none yet so far. But very, very close in comparison. And I think Eric Moulds is one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver ever to play for the Buffalo Bills. Now, many may argue Andre Reed is, but this is kind of where I go back to my point with the starting quarterbacks and who they play with and how many coaches. Listen, Andre Reed got to play with one of the best offensive lines, right? One of the best defenses. Right, as far as defense, like that team was stacked. Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly throughout his whole career, Marv Levy throughout his whole career. So you have one coach, right? I think there was only one coordinator, maybe 2, in Andre Reed's time here in Buffalo. You're working with the same line, working with the same running back. Like continuity was there, right? He didn't have to go through all the bullshit that Eric Moulds did year in, year out. Oh, we're changing the coach now after 2 years. Oh, we're changing the quarterback after this year. We're changing the coordinator. Now it's a new scheme. Now it's a new vision. Now we have all this going on. We still expect you to do what you do. It's not easy. Did you guys see what Justin Jefferson did last year with J.J. McCarthy? It wasn't Justin Jefferson type numbers. But he still cracked 1,000. He still proved, even with as bad as J.J. McCarthy can be, or is, I still am that guy. I still can produce. And that matters. Absolutely does. It shows the talent. That's my point. That's where I'm coming from when it comes to DJ Moore. Now, last year, if you want to look at DJ Moore, go, the yards are low. Ben Johnson, first year there. Ben Johnson totally changed up the way the scheme was going. He used more of a tight end set, tight ends for his offense, right? Running backs, tight ends. However, ask any Bears fan when a play needed to be had, it was still DJ Moore. They still were going to DJ Moore, right? Matter of fact, DJ Moore, I think, won an award for like the greatest catch of the season or something like that, right? And by the way, it was a very important catch against the Green Bay Packers, the game-winning touchdown. He was the guy. It wasn't anyone else. It wasn't a tight end. It wasn't the other receiver, and Dunze, whatever his name is. It's DJ Moore. Why? Because they know the guy's a playmaker. They know you're throwing DJ Moore's way, he's going to make the play on the ball. Just like we were confident in Stephon Diggs. Throw the ball Diggs' way, he's going to make a play on the ball. He's going to make a play. He's going to make it happen. 9 times out of 10, that's your guy. He's going to make something happen. Right? We didn't have that over the last 2 years. But anyways, that's why when people kind of, shit on DJ Moore a little bit and say that he's not this, a true number one, or he's not going to do anything in Buffalo, or, I go back to this and I try to make them understand that look what the guys work with. Look how many starting quarterbacks. Look how many different head coaches. Look how many offensive coordinators. And yet the guy has produced year in, year out. With all that being said, you got to tip your cap to that guy. You have to. Just like I tip my cap to the great Eric Moulds. Because I truly believe if Eric Moulds left Buffalo early in his career and actually wound it up in a place where they had a franchise quarterback that knew what the fuck he was doing, a head coach that knew what he was doing and was there long term, that Eric Moulds' numbers would be way better, would be way past 10,000 yards. Right? We may be talking borderline Hall of Fame player. That's how special Eric Moulds was. But Eric Moulds, he stuck around too long. Because the Buffalo Bills in the drought years weren't going anywhere. They were doing a cycling of bad quarterbacks, bad head coaches. And it just, unfortunately for him, he got caught up in it for 10 years. And it fucked him up. It ruined his career, to be honest with you guys. And we basically, got everything from him and then, sent him off to Houston. And he was the shell of himself at that point. He was done. So I hope you guys kind of see where I'm coming from. When I evaluate players, it's not always about stats and analytics. They play a part, but all this stuff does too. You got to factor in everything that I just said, then do your evaluation, right? That's a fair evaluation, right? And once again, I'm showing you guys the stats here, right? On what, DJ Moore has done since being in the league, right? And I'll pop it up one time for you guys and we'll move on. Right there. These are... So NFL wide receivers ranking since 2018, top 10 in receiving yards, top 10 in receptions, 5 1,000-yard seasons, 32 career 100-yard games, all while playing with 12 starting quarterbacks, 6 head coaches, 7 offense coordinators. His best season is 2020, 66 catches, 1,193 yards, 18.1 yards per catch. 2021, 93 for 1,157. 2023 for Chicago's career year, 96 with 1,364, 8 touchdowns. And that was with, by the way, Justin Fields, I believe. That's kind of where I'm going with them. And I know you guys are done with the Justin Fields talk, the DJ Moore talk. But this is where, this is kind of where I was going with it. And why I believe Bills fans should be a little bit more excited about what we got in DJ Moore. And you're going to see that on the field this year. You really are. It takes me back to 2020 when, actually 2019, when the Bills added Cole Beasley and John Brown. It was kind of the start there, right, for Josh Allen and building foundation around Josh, right? Guys that can be reliable options, right? And Cole Beasley was the most reliable one. And John Brown was great, good. I have no problem with John Brown. Matter of fact, John Brown got his first 1,000 yards in his career in Buffalo, his first year in 2019 with Josh Allen. But consistency and being reliable, Cole Beasley was that guy. Then 2020 came, and you add Stephon Diggs to the mix. Now you got Stephon Diggs, super reliable chemistry, along with Cole Beasley, who's also super reliable, and that security blanket, right? And it also adding Diggs made Cole Beasley's job even easier. That's why if you look at 2020, Cole Beasley, if he doesn't get hurt, cracks 1,000 yards. And it would have been the first time since 2002 that the Buffalo Bills had two receivers eclipse 1,000 yards, because in 2002 we had Eric Moulds and Peerless Price go over 1,000 yards. It didn't happen because of the injury, but it would have. But you see my point. Adding the true number one, then that even helps out Cole Beasley even more. Now, Cole Beasley eventually retires. We have, eventually Stephon Diggs and Sean McDermott don't get along. Both are off the team. Now who's your go-to? Right? And I like Khalil Shakir. I do. Khalil Shakir could be your Cole Beasley. He very well could be. But you have to have the one. We didn't have the one. Now you have the one. And not only do you have the one, but he's going to also help out other guys, like I said, like Dalton Kincaid, who's a borderline top 5 tight end when healthy. That guy is going to also produce when healthy. And hopefully he stays healthy. So I believe in this unit, and I believe now that we found the right guy, games like last year where we were struggling to put up points or struggling to make plays, it won't be the case in 2026 now that we have our guy. That's all. All right. Beasley was clutch. He was, dude. People forget how good Beasley was, dude. Like, Beasley was good. You know what messed Beasley up, to be honest with you, Bob? A little bit, I think. The COVID years, like in 2020. And I'm not saying it's all to blame, but when he kind of took a stance, and I'm not even blaming him. I mean, he's the first player, I believe, in like sports kind of to take a stance on the shot. And I think because it was such a kind of a sensitive issue at the time, because the NFL was still going to play the season, but remember it wasn't mandatory, but teams were saying maybe you should, and you had guys in the locker room, saying that they should and they shouldn't, and it was a little, it was tough that year. You know what I mean? And Cole Beasley wasn't going to, back away, right, from his point. Like, he wasn't going to do it. So I felt like it kind of affected him a little bit. You know what I mean? It kind of changed a little bit, and you saw like it just his numbers kind of went down a little bit that year too. And before you know it, he just wasn't on the. Remember, he was off the team like shortly after, or maybe a year or two after. Like, so I think that kind of started the downfall right there. And I'm not blaming him for that at all, by the way. I'm just kind of pointing that out. That it may have played a part on why, like, he kind of just all of a sudden kind of fell from great. Like, he fell. Like, he had a great season in 2020. You know what I mean? In 2021, it dropped. You know what I'm saying? It really took a drop. He was getting old. He was, but I still feel like it kind of played a little part into it too, because I don't think he kind of was happy anymore with the NFL. Not so much the Buffalo Bills. He was fine with the Bills, but I think that whole, like, the NFL is a little fluky at times with, the stuff they push out there, to be honest with you. And Cole Beasley, he's not the kind of person that's going to bite his tongue, right? And I think that, played a little part of it too. He wasn't too happy with playing in the NFL at that point. I think kind of affected him a little bit. But yeah, Cole Beasley was damn good while he was here. I have no problem with Cole Beasley, man. We missed that guy. I think Khalil Shakir can be that security blanket, but we need that one. Now you got the one. You got the one in DJ Moore, and I think that's going to make a world of difference. Okay. Now, the title of the show. We are 2 hours in. Holy shit, time flew by. I thought I was going to do like a 2-hour show. Man, might be a longer show. All right. Title of the show. Here we go. If you guys are sticking around with me, cool. Appreciate you. If not, I don't blame you. I know it's July 4th weekend. I don't know if you guys can hear but in the background, but they're setting fireworks off around my house. And my car alarm's going off and Princess is getting mad. But the show must go on. All right, here we go. Top 50 Buffalo Bills 2026 best case versus worst case scenario. All right, here we go. Number 1, Josh Allen, best case, NFL MVP, 45 plus total touchdowns, career best season, leads Bills to AFC number 1 seed, and wins his first Super Bowl. I mean, woo! That would be that is the best case. That would be unbelievable, right? I will take it, especially the very last one. Wins his first Super Bowl. Yes, please. Let's have the best case scenario play out. Now, let's look at the worst case. Worst case, he misses multiple games. Turnovers return. Takes too many hits. Playoff seeding suffers. Questions about the championship window. Woo! We do not want the worst case scenario creeping up in 2026. Please stay away. All right, here we go. Joe Brady coming number 2. Joe Brady's first season as head coach. Best case, NFL Coach of the Year. Whoa, man. Can you imagine? This dude takes over for Sean McDermott, and wins Coach of the Year his first year coaching. Youngest coach in the NFL. Aggressive play calling. Excellent game management. Players fully buy into his vision. Bills become Super Bowl favorites. Man, wouldn't that be great? That is the best case scenario. But what's the worst case scenario? Learning curve proves costly. Poor clock management. Conservative decisions. Don't be like Sean McDermott. Team starts slow. Fans question the hire. We do not want the worst case scenario creeping up in 2026 for Joe Brady. Number 3, Jim Leonhard's new defense. Best case, top 5 defense. Blitzes overwhelm offenses. Top 3 in sacks. Woo! Top 5 in takeaways. Defense wins playoff games. I think that just blew my mind. The defense wins playoff. What? Oh my God. That blew my mind. I've never said that with Sean McDermott. Defense wins play. What? Can that happen? Is that a reality? Holy shit. Twins football. I'm back from dinner, and some of these could happen. Yeah, hey, we're doing the best and worst cases. The title of the show. And, I'm still going on. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes in, dude. I hope you guys are liking this, man. I come up with this stuff on the fly. I'm not going to I'm not going to lie to you guys. I told you guys earlier, this is the most brutal part of the offseason. And I am, and I'm sure it's not just me, but fishing for content, like stuff to talk about and entertain you guys. And I came up with this one, and I thought it was a pretty cool thing to go with, talk about, right? Why not? Right? So I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying it. What does that mean? I don't know. What is it like to have even a decent defense, Bob? Right? Mind blown. What? Can that be a thing? All right. All right, let's look at the worst case. Players struggle learning the system. Communication breakdowns. Big plays allowed. Can't stop the run. Oh, no. I mean, that's nothing new. Let's hope that don't happen. Defense finishes middle of the pack. You mean like Sean McDermott? Matter of fact, I think last year was like terrible. We were like towards the bottom there, right? Pretty bad. So let's hope worst case doesn't happen for Jim Leonhard. 6 more weeks until it begins. Yeah. I don't know. Middle of the pack. I take middle of the pack. All right. Okay. All right. Number 4, DJ Moore. Best case, 1,300 plus receiving yards. Pro Bowl. Allen's favorite target. Opens offense for everyone. One of the NFL's best receiver duos. Woo! What do you think about that, huh? But let's look at the worst case. Injuries. I'll say this. DJ Moore is relatively always healthy. I think he's missed 1 game, I believe, in his career. 1. So I'm not concerned about injuries at all when it comes to DJ Moore. Chemistry never develops. And you know what? Okay, I get that. Doesn't fit the offense. Yeah, could happen. Though he worked with Joe Brady before, and they had a good season together in Carolina. So I don't believe that will be true. Numbers disappoint, and trade is questioned. Okay, I mean, hey, this could happen. Worst case, yes, it could happen. All right, number 5. Ruh-roh. Keon Coleman. We got some Keon Coleman talk. Oh no. There's some best case for Keon Coleman. Guys, there's mind blown again. ChatGPT came up with some best case for my dude, Keon Coleman. I think rightfully so. Listen, Keon Coleman can be productive. Believe it or not. He's not a well-rounded receiver. He doesn't have a lot of tools in the shed. However, he does have some good ones. He can be productive, believe it or not. They just got to find his strengths and use them on the field, meaning, dial up some plays for him that best fit his strengths. That's all. And he'll be just fine. But he also has to stop being immature and wisen the fuck up too. Like that's on him, right? Anyways, let's see what they say. Best case, breakout star. 10 plus touchdowns. Okay. Future wide receiver 1. Oh man, ChatGPT, you're going too far. Dominates the red zone. Huge year 2 leap. Actually, it would be year 3. So they're wrong on that. So it'll be so they meant 3, right? Worst case. So he's actually not a sophomore anymore. He's a junior. This is his 3rd year. So we'll say junior slump. Separation concerns remain. Drops continue. He loses snap count. Confidence takes a hit. I mean, all that is very possible when it comes to Keon Coleman. So I get it. Worst case. Okay. James Cook. Best case. 1,600 total yards. Double-digit touchdowns. He earns another contract extension. That's not happening. We just paid him. I highly doubt it. One of the NFL's best running backs. And right now he is considered that, but okay. Worst case. Holdout distractions. I don't know what that means because he's not a holdout. Injuries, fumble issues. Now, that's something he needs to clean up. He had the most in the NFL for running back last year. Got to clean that up, James. Committee backfield, that's not happening. Now, I think Ray Davis will be used a little bit more because they're going to try to get James Cook involved in the passing game a little bit more, but it's not by committee at all. If that's James Cook's job, he's not losing it to Ray Davis. McDermott and Coleman had beef. I think he will be better. Stevie Johnson said he'll make 200 yards more this season. Okay. And I believe that, by the way. There was a lot of people that landed in McDermott's doghouse that simply could not get out. Number 7, Dalton Kincaid. Best case, 1,000 yards, 1,000 plus yards. Top 5 tight end. Red zone weapon. Allen's security blanket. So they're saying he would be Josh Allen's security blanket, which is, between him and Shakira, I would say that's a good assessment. Yep. Worst case for Dalton Kincaid, injuries. Ugh. Production stalls. Blocking limits snaps. Doesn't become elite. Okay. The injuries, I would say, is one that is a possibility when it comes to worst case. Number 8, offensive line. Best case, top 3 offensive line. Allen rarely pressured. Dominates run game. Healthy all season. That would be great. Worst case, injuries pile up. Pass protection collapses. Penalties kill drives. And the run game disappears. We don't want that, and I don't think that's going to happen. All right, Bradley Chubb. Number 9, best case, 12-plus sacks. He's a veteran, becomes a veteran leader. Pro Bowl comeback. Elite pass rush. Okay. Worst case, injury setbacks, declining production, limited snaps, little impact. We don't want that. We do not want that. Number 10, Grooch. Best case, 15-plus sacks. Oh, mind blown again. He hasn't had 10 yet in his career. I believe the most he's had is 8.5. He would pretty much double it if he got this. All pro. Finally becomes elite. Dominates playoffs. Let me tell you something. If that happened, if all that happened right there, best case for a group. Whoa. Wow. That would tell you everything you need to know about Sean McDermott's defense compared to Jim Leonhard's defense right away. That you had a player on your team that couldn't sniff 10 sacks. And first year with a new defensive coordinator gets 10 plus 15 sacks, becomes an all-pro, becomes elite, dominates playoffs. That would be amazing, right? And people would probably talk about that for a long time when it comes to why didn't we fire Sean McDermott much earlier? And that defense was total dog shit. Now look at these players thriving under a new defensive coordinator. All right. Worst case, pressure without sacks, which has kind of been his deal, right? High pressure rate, but he doesn't get home. Inconsistent finisher. Doesn't become closer. Contract questions, right? People question the contract. I could see that, right? CJ Gardner-Johnson. Best case, ball hawk, 5+ interceptions. Emotional leader. Changes the defense. Worst case, penalties, injuries, missed tackles, locker room distractions. Though the locker room distraction thing, from everything I've gathered when it comes to CJ Gardner-Johnson, has never been an issue. Never. You know, it is weird that he's been on so many teams in such a short period of time, but I've never heard anything when it comes to locker room issues. He's had an issue with, I think, probably management in, I think it was Chicago. But as far as locker room, I haven't heard anything. Rookie class, that's a good one. Best case, multiple starters, which, you know what? It it very well could be. I'm telling you guys right now, Elarms or I think is going to be our starting linebacker next to Bernard week 1, unless something crazy happens, unless, when training camp hits, he's not the guy that maybe Leonhard was thinking he had, or maybe he needs more work to do. And Dorian Williams just has that strong of a camp. And then you got IGB, who I think has a real opportunity to take that CB2 role away from Maxwell Harrison. All right, anyways, steals of the draft, defensive rookie candidate, woo, and future core players. Worst case, slow development, rookie mistakes, injuries, limited production. We don't want that. All right, rapid fire, because we got to get through this quick. Number 13, TJ Parker becomes defensive rookie of the year candidate. Worst case, needs full development year. IGB, when starting CB job. Best case. Worst case, struggles in coverage. 15, Bills finish 15-2. Best case. Worst case, Bills finish 9-8. Best case, number 16, AFC East champions. Worst, they lose AFC East. Number 17, they're the number 1 AFC seed is the best case. Worst case, they're a wild card team. Number 18, they're the top 3 offense. Best case. Worst case, middle of the pack offense. 19, top 5 defense. Best case. Worst case, bottom of the half defense. Number 20, league leader in sacks. Worst case, pass rush disappoints. 21, top 5 turnovers force. Worst case, can't create takeaways. 22, elite red zone offense. Field goals instead of touchdowns, worst case. Ugh, we don't want that. 23, top third down offense. Worst case, 3 and outs. Don't want that. Don't want that. 24, elite third down defense. Woo! We need that because we've been bad at third down, especially third and longs. Worst case, can't get off the field. We know that all too well. 25, home field advantage. Woo, we would like that. And then worst case, losing multiple home games. Oh, not good. 26, 6-2 road record. Worst case, road struggles. Ugh, don't want that. 27, undefeated at home. Worst case, home losses pile up. 28, healthy roster. Worst case, injury riddled season. 29, special teams elite. Worst case, missed kicks cost games. Can't have that, Tyler Bass. 30, James Cook, all-pro. Worst case, run game struggles. 31, Allen and Moore becomes NFL's best duo. Worst case, chemistry never develops. 32, Keon and Moore dominate. Worst case, wide receiver inconsistency. 33, defense dominates Mahomes. Worst case, Chiefs expose the defense. 34, Bills beat Ravens. Worst case, Ravens bully Buffalo. 35, win toughest schedule. Worst case, schedule overwhelms team. 36, Joe Brady outcoaches opponents. Worst case, coaching mistake cost wins. We don't want that. 37, Brandon Bean praised. My dude, believe in Bean Island. Worst case, roster question. Uh-oh. Don't want that, Bean. Don't want that, Bean. 38, trade deadline addition sparks run. Worst case, no help arrives. 39, young players break out. Worst case, development stalls. 40, defense becomes feared. Worst case, still inconsistent. 41, run defense top 10. Wouldn't that be crazy? Worst case, can't stop anyone. Oh, geez. Don't want that. 42, Allen protects football. Worst case, turnovers increase. Don't want that. 43, explosive offense. Worst case, big plays disappear. 44, players buy into culture. Worst case, frustration builds. 45, Bills dominate prime time. Worst case, national TV disappoints. 46, playoff bye. Worst case, must play wild card weekend. 47, reach AFC championship. Worst case, one and done. 48, win AFC championship. Worst case, another heartbreaking playoff exit. 49, win the Super Bowl. Worst case, championship window, question. 50, dynasty talk begins. Worst case, major off-season questions. Dude, I had a great time doing that. That was fun, man. Like I love coming up with stuff like that on the fly, man, because it's tough to think about, thank God for ChatGPT too, right? Which helps me a lot. But I think of this stuff in my dome, and then I go to ChatGPT and like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Help me out. And ChatGPT does the rest, and then we go on from there. But it's I had a good time with that, man, right? I hope you guys enjoyed that part of the show, and that was the title, obviously, the worst and best and worst case scenarios in the 2026 season. Walter, if Cook had a similar season and leads the league again, he definitely going to want to rework his deal, and he might. And you're right, that's a great point, Walter. Maybe, right? He quite possibly, right? Especially if they go on to do great things and like win a Super Bowl, and James Cook is a big reason why. I can see that conversation being brought back up. Absolutely. Sandra, I haven't heard anyone mention Bass this offseason. Neither have I, and I don't like that, to be honest with you. But training camp's right around the corner. I do wish Brandon Beane would bring in competition because we don't want something happening like it did last year when it comes to Tyler Bass, and we're in panic mode looking for a kicker. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's this, it's not like there's a ton of great kickers just, chilling, waiting for teams to call them, right? Like a lot of these guys are on teams already, right? So we kind of got lucky last year with Prater, but getting lucky again, kind of slim when you're going last second shopping for a kicker. As a matter of fact, you saw that when Prater went down, and we went through 2 kickers or something like that. It was terrible. So we do not want that to happen again. If you guys are willing to stick around, I could stick around for another 15, 20 minutes. I did have some other stuff. And we'll go through this quick. The NFL SI did an article of every team's 2026 look from worst to best for their uniforms, right? Where do you guys think, for the people that are still in here watching the podcast, where do you think that SI has the Bills ranked in uniform look? Do you think we're middle of the pack? Do you think we're one of the worst, one of the best? Where do you guys feel the Buffalo Bills land in this uniform ranking? For me, and I have not looked at this yet, guys, I would say middle of the pack, right? Because we don't have anything that really, we don't change often, like uniforms. Now, I know we're probably going to this gray uniform, but we do have the classic red, white, and blues, right? And they're classic looks, right? So, and it's not ugly, you know what I mean? So, but we don't often do crazy uniform change or design, right? So I don't know if we'll wind up in the top 5, top 10. So you're saying the top 10. I'm going to say somewhere in the middle, 15 or something like that, right? 17, right? So let's see. Here we go. Number 32, they got the Rams as the worst ranking uniform in the NFL sets. That's what they got right there. As of now, by the way, because I think, some teams like the Buffalo Bills are adding on an alternate uniform, and I think ours is going to be that gray one. So right now they got the Rams at 32. 31 is the Jets. That's their uniform colors, whatever you want to call it. 30 is the Cardinals. 29 is the Panthers. That's their sets. 28 is the Seahawks. There's their sets. You know what? The Seahawks aren't terrible. I got to be honest with you. Like, I never hated them. Like, that blue, that first one is pretty sharp. And I don't mind that the fourth one, this one, the green one, it pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bright, it pops. I don't know. Like, I don't hate it. I kind of dig it. But SI, I guess they don't dig it. 28. 27 is the Browns. See, I think the Browns are one of the most boring, though it's old school tradition. So I kind of get it, I guess, right? They don't really change their looks often. You know what the Cleveland Browns helmet looks like. You know their team by just looking at the helmet. There's no surprise when it comes to them. But they're coming at 27. 26 is the Colts. There's their uniform combinations. All right. 25 is the Giants. There's their uniform combinations. All right. If you want to see it, there you go. 24 is the Vikings. There's their combinations. Vikings, you know what? Classic purple. I don't hate it. You know what I mean? They haven't really changed through years. You know, it pops. The purple and gold pop. So yeah, I don't hate their helmet at all. 23 is the Packers. Once again, old school tradition. They haven't changed much. You know the Green Bay Packers logo, right? So I don't mind them here at 23 either. Pittsburgh at 22. Once again, old school, same helmet. Same kind of jersey combination for the longest time. There's their combination. I hate the far one on the right, though. That is so ugly. What do they call that one? Throwback? Like, ugh. That is terrible. I do not dig that last one. All the rest are fine. Coming at 21 is Atlanta. I always liked Atlanta's uniforms. I don't hate them at all. I think it's sharp. I like the bird, the falcon. They're red and black. I could dig their uniforms. Coming in at 20 is the Patriots. Honestly, I do not like their uniform. And it's not because they're East team in our division. I don't know. It's just stupid Patriot on the side of the helmet. I'll tell you what. I actually, out of all of these, I think I would prefer the fourth one, the far right, with the old school Patriot guy, with the throwback, with the football. I think that may be the sharpest looking one. The first three are just so plain to me. They're just so boring. But that last one, I'll tell you what, that last one's not bad. That last one actually does it for me. So, all right, number 19 is the Titans. And, old school, I love the powder blue. Not going to lie, I think powder blue is such a cool color. I think it's clean with the powder blue. I like it. Number 18, Chicago. Once again, another iconic logo and old school kind of uniform. It hasn't changed through the years. I could dig it. I like the navy blue with orange. I think it's a good combination. Number 17. Man, dude, did I not call it? Middle of the pack. 15, 17, I said it. I have not looked at this, by the way. And this is about right, I think, for us. The Pittsburgh throwback looks like a prison outfit. Yeah, it looks terrible, Sandra. So here's our Bills coming in at 17. I you know what? This is kind of where I thought they would land. I dig them all except for, the rivalries one. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. To be honest with you, I like the all red, but we play terrible in all red. I don't know why, but I don't mind it. I like the throwback with the standing buffalo. I do wish they would bring back the red helmets. I think the red helmets are so slick, so sweet, and they for whatever reason they just refuse to do that. They keep bringing some bullshit. Now they're going to bring some bullshit gray uniform. Look, I know some people like it, but look, this is what they should do, and I think this is what the NFL should do. If you really want to include the green lights channel is booing. Does not like it. For me, if you really want to make this fun, as far as getting fans involved with jersey combinations, right? And you're having this alternate jersey, right? Have the fans vote when you go to do this every offseason. Give them like 2 or 3 options where the fans can go on their website, the team's website, and they can vote on, what uniform combination they like and helmet, whatever. And then and then at the end, obviously, the winner of the poll will be that uniform that year. Like, because then I could deal with that. You know what? Hey, maybe I didn't like it, but Bills Mafia, 65% of you guys said you want this one. Okay. It is what, I mean? Like, I'll buy into that more than just Buffalo, or any team is going, we came up with, here it is, guys. We know, you guys have all been screaming for the red helmet, but we're going to throw the gray helmet at you. Like, but we didn't want that. We didn't ask for that. Like, we want this. Why can't you give us this? We're not asking for crazy helmets here. We want one thing, so give the fans the opportunity to be a part of that decision making. But, I don't get that, but whatever. All right, moving forward. 16, Philadelphia Eagles. I don't mind their uniforms at all. I think they're sharp. They've been around a long time. I get it. 15, the Jaguars. I don't care for them. I like I like the Jaguar. I think, the tongue being that teal green is pretty cool effect, but I'm not crazy about their uniform. I'll tell you what, I like the black one looks sharp, but I would not have a white helmet with it. I think I would have a black helmet with this third one, which is the alternate. I think the white helmet, I don't know, it like throws it off for me. Like, why? I think you should go all black. You know what I mean? Black helmet would make more sense there. So basically, any of the other helmets you bring over to this third one. The Raiders, man, yeah, the Raiders are iconic. You like, dude, listen, the black and silver, like, dude, that is iconic as you can get. Mean looking logo. Been around a long time. I don't rock any football jerseys or hoodies or hats other than the Buffalo Bills, and I never will. But if I somehow lost my mind and I decided to, I probably would rock a Raiders hat or a hoodie or something, because it's just something about it is just badass looking. You know what I mean? It's just a badass looking logo. I'm not gonna lie. How they? Yeah, I don't know. No idea, but they did. Number 13, the Lions. Classic. I don't hate it either. Now when I was a kid, I did have a Barry Sanders jersey. Because he was my favorite running back. When I was a kid. I like it. The Lions sharp. I have no problem. I think my favorite one, that black one, is sharp. This alternate one, I think it's a sharp looking one. The Saints, I think the Saints are kind of boring. I don't know. To me, they don't. I know it's a classic. It's been around for a long time, but it just doesn't do it for me. Boring, like design. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. The Chiefs. I'm not gonna hate on it. I like the red, yellow, and white combination. It works. It's clean. I do like the Chiefs, the arrow with the KC in the middle. So yeah, it's a sharp jersey and helmet. I'm not gonna lie. Denver Broncos. I like it. I do. I think their combinations work. That Bronco is sharp. Even the old Bronco helmet is sharp. Like the horse coming out of the D. I love that. The angry horse, and the new one is sharp. You know, the colors, make sense. Yeah, I'm with that. I think it's a sharp uniform, sharp helmet. Number 9, Dolphins. Ugh, they're so ugly. I'm sorry. You know what? The best one, I'll be honest with you, that I can kind of dig, I guess, is the rivalries, the black and orange and teal green. This one here. This one is sharp. I don't hate that one, but the rest are just. I don't like. I'll say this though. I think the old helmet's better than the new helmet. I like the old Dolphin, the way that was designed, better than the new Dolphin. But if I were to pick one, I would say the rivalries one is the sharpest one. Number 8, Washington. I'm sorry, I disagree. Ugly, 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 plain, nothing to it. Uniform and helmet. Honestly, the last helmet's probably the best one. But there's not. I can't. To be real, man, I thought the Redskins, the original one, was way better. And I know the whole name thing is controversial, but just don't dig it. The Texans, I like their helmet. I'm not going to lie. The design, the first two. I hate the ones to the right. Makes zero. I just hate them. It's ugly. But the first two helmets, spot on. It's awesome. I think the color combinations are really good as well. I have no problem with that, but I hate the helmets on the far right. Number 6, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I think, once again, another really cool helmet. All of them. And the jersey. I love what do they call that color? The throwback, popsicle orange, or whatever they call that color. Cream popsicle color. Dope. I do like their uniforms, I'm not going to lie. Number 5, the Bengals. I like the black and orange. I like the helmets are iconic. I'll tell you what, I dig the far right one. The white is pretty cool. They're not terrible, but I don't think they're top 5, in my opinion. Number 4, the Ravens. Not gonna lie, they got dope helmets. They got dope helmets. I like the color purple. Like, that's my favorite color. So I think it blends in well with the black. And all of these, except for the far right helmet, I don't like, but they're all sharp. I'm not gonna lie. I think they're good looking, sharp helmets, sharp design on the helmets. Yeah. Number 3, the Cowboys. Iconic. The star, right? I think they're all sharp, to be honest with you. They're very clean looking uniforms and helmets. Number 2, the 49ers. Once again, a classic, awesome logo, simple yet effective. The colors match great with the gold and red. It's sharp all around. I like it. Number 1, they got the Chargers at number 1. And you know what? I get it. It's simple yet effective. The lightning bolt is dope. The colors are dope. I think I can go with that. Yeah, I hear you. So that's the jerseys. All right, so I had other stuff, but I'm going to go over this on Monday night because I'm 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm done, guys. So Monday, for Monday Night Uncensored, I'm going to tell you guys, people that are still here in the chat, what I'm going to be going over with Mikey, and we're going to have more stuff. But the stuff I was going to go over tonight with you guys that I'll save for Monday is every NFL defense's best and worst case scenario for 2026. So we'll go through every NFL team. PFF quarterback rankings, all 32 starters ahead of the 2026 NFL season. So the rankings of all 32 quarterbacks going into the 2026 season. And then I had a cool one that I pulled up. World's highest paid athletes in 2026 in every major category in sports. And you're going to be amazed on the amount of money that these athletes make in a year. And this is 1 year 2026. And we'll go over that on Monday as well. So, guys, I will return Sunday, though, me personally, for the Down and Drought episode number 16, 2015 season. Rex Ryan is named head coach. It's going to be a long episode, probably about 3 hours, but it's going to be a good one. And we are 2 episodes away from finishing the Down and Drought series. So here comes the Rex Ryan years, 2015 and 2016. And I will have that scheduled sometime tomorrow. So I'll see you Sunday at 1 for the Down and Drought series. Rex Ryan, the Buffalo Bills' newest head coach, coming to Buffalo. Thank you, Tommy, for your time. Have a great night and a good 4th. Oh, I'm sorry. And guys, I'm so dumb. I am so dumb. Actually, and thank you, Sandra, and I hope you're still around. If you're not, I'm sorry. Tomorrow, I do have it scheduled already. This is my 4th year doing it. Number 4 of the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. I do a watch party. This is my 4th season doing it, 4th year. I do it with my buddy Miles, joins me. And we do a watch party, and it's fun. It's a blast. After the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, we do our own Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest here, right? So it's just a fun time. It's something that's different than football, and we usually have a good turnout. It starts at 10:30 in the morning. So the men's competition, I believe, starts at 12. The ladies' competition starts at 11. So I start at 10:30, and I cover the ladies, and then I go to the men's, and then we close it out with our own hot dog eating contest here on the podcast. So if you guys are free, you're not doing anything, join me tomorrow morning. It's already scheduled. You can see it on Mafia Sports Report. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning for the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. And but if you don't join me, hey, have a happy 4th of July. I appreciate you guys. Bills Mafia, I love you. And if you guys do want to donate to my GoFundMe, you guys know what it's all about. If you don't know what it's all about, go to the GoFundMe link that's in the description. It'll tell you everything on why I started the GoFundMe. It'll explain everything there. So thank you, Bills Mafia. I appreciate you guys. And Tommy, are we getting close to the goal? Yeah, no. Well, yeah, kind of. So, yeah, so I'm glad you asked. So right now, I did have a goal set up, guys, because, they have a goal, and I had kind of a goal in mind where I need to be, financially to be able to, move and pay for all, everything that needs to be paid for and all that good stuff. So, yeah, right now I am at $12.45 raised, and thank you so much for everyone that has donated. The goal is $2,500 to be raised. So we're about halfway there. So once again, I appreciate everybody that has helped out in this goal, reaching my goal, and hopefully we can, that goal can be reached in time. I am moving out into my new home August 1st. I put down the first part of the deposit, got to come up with the rest. And that's why I still have the GoFundMe up, along with obviously moving costs and paying people to help, because I cannot move heavy stuff because of my back. So there's a lot to plays part of this and why I needed your guys' help. And I had very little time to do all this and come up with money and all that stuff. So once again, appreciate you guys for sending your thoughts, prayers, wishes, sharing the GoFundMe, and for those who donated, thank you so much. And Joey, thank you. I appreciate you bringing it up. Joey, well, I definitely want to keep you and Prince together and get you a place to stay, so I will keep sharing. Okay, brother, love you too. Yeah, hey, Joey, thank you so much for thinking about me, man. All right, guys, Bills Mafia, I love you, and as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow. Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest, 10:30 in the morning. See you there, man. If not, happy 4th of July. Go Bills.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let